食完飯一係去食飯，一係放工嘅啫。喂，咩料？咩嚟㗎？
依條嗰個飲過。
哇！依個鐘數，
嗰樣我要走先。
仲危險過袋住啲冰喎。啊，得，係。因為雖然抄緊嗰本嘢咧，但係嗰本嘢唔係一個嘅告票簿嚟嘅，告票簿又唔係咁嘅似係自己警察嘅本簿嚟嘅。咁佢好明顯咧就冇 call 上台 check 身份證嘅，純粹抄身份證嘅啫，同埋查袋。哇 ！Can on 你使唔使呢個嘅世界將我包圍啊？世界將你包圍，世死都齊。用晒啦！好啦，咁眼見嘅最後一個嘅女士都走咗啦。今日收隊啦，後邊嗰邊就。呢度邊度啊？旺角地鐵站咯。呢個咩 B 出口？人唔喺度聚集啦，行人路窄啊。B two 繼續行啦。E two。記者朋友可唔可以向西洋菜南呢邊行啊？因為呢度真係路窄，唔該晒。係啦，向西洋菜方面，向西洋菜馬路嗰邊行啊！唔該晒，呢邊路窄。係啦，同緊你講，唔該晒，小姐點樣幫到你？請食冰冰牛膜，其實未必揾到啊！後邊咧，多啲 shop 嗰度咧係會窄啲嘅，係啊，向西洋菜南啊！唔該晒。咁後邊嗰班警察又退咗啦，得翻你條鏟帶前面嘅警察。喂，咩嚟㗎？哇！你又黐線，你俾呢啲我做乜嘢啊？邊使用㗎而家？唉！西洋菜南係嗰邊。係啊，我知啊。咁我點啊？入空調。其實唔知，我應該企喺度咯。成件事 OK。原地轉圈啦，其實應該係要。成件事 OK。成件事應該原地轉圈嘅，其實。但係嗰邊。唔係咁收禮嗰啲，唔係禮嚟嘅，嗰啲用具嚟嘅，嗰啲東西嚟嘅，嗰啲係唔係禮品嚟嘅？嗰啲唔係禮品。一本書有冰做直播唔好啦，一跑喺度仆街啊！成杯書有冰唔知熬下會去邊？我攞人哋倒啊唔緊要啊，我攞自己倒啊好麻煩。咁啊，唔知會發生咩事。呢個地鐵站呢個出口咧都人冇停過㗎。 其實點樣叫啲人驅散咧，都係冇乜作用。
咁頭先都聽到有啲窒聲。
因為呢度咧，只要係站咧，都係要。
嗱，現場記者留意啦，我提多大家，我哋現場警方做緊啲截圖嘅搜查。係啦，咁我哋見到眼前呢一個咧，我哋警方做緊截停盤問搜查嘅，當中牽涉個人資料嘅。咁如果你就小心啲，唔好將現場人士嘅個人資料咧上載咗你哋嘅社交網站，麻煩多謝合作啊！同埋現場記者留意啦，小心樓上有高空雜物啦，頭先有人掉起落嚟㗎，盡量企埋兩邊行人路同埋檐篷底，唔該。你會見到側邊有好多年青人就等。仲有提一提啦，如果呢度採訪嘅記者有反光衣，盡量着反光衣。如果唔係記者嘅就麻煩你唔好混喺記者群中啦，唔知你做乜嘢嘅。呢個先生你咪記者嚟㗎？如果唔係唔好企到，褪開少少啦嘛。如果你想翻屋企翻屋企，如果唔係就唔好攞喺記者群中啦，唔知你做乜嘢嘅。你向嗰邊行開嗰堆㗎啦。你向嗰邊係。見到啊？好係啊，行緊㗎，係啊，係啊，你行啊。我哋可唔可以將呢條帶咧嗰個 anchor 位褪到呢個扣度啊？咁俾翻佢哋可以入到去嘛？而家係，好嘛？我哋褪翻去綁翻呢度，等佢哋可以自己入去。冇風咁啊喺左側呢度見到啦，大概有10名8名嘅男女喺度。攬現場記者有市民出入嘅時候，麻煩讓一讓啊！各位。
佢哋啱啱話係衝出彌敦道嘅，但係冇講咩事。
咁啊，繼續影翻個截查嗰度先咯，好嘛？視乎嗰邊都繼續影翻個截查先。
因為我唔係喺最前排嘅，我唔知啊。
咁啊，頭先考記者應該係講咁樣，但係因為呢度未完啦，咁我哋冇喺度睇定啲先。
喂，係啊，撞位啊！撞位我行第二邊，我兜出嚟倫道啊！我兜出嚟倫道。兜出嚟倫道咯，兜出嚟倫道，哎行唔到啦嚇，所以要過一個街口先行。兜咯，兜啊！唉，算啦，啲後巷好危險啊，唔好行後巷，唔好行後巷。咁啊，最緊要重要嘅位置有人睇嘅嚇，咁啊，另外我有同事睇啦，你哋睇我條直播啦 ，OK 啦。咁我行翻去第二區啦。哇！呢度都封啊，但係過到喎，係嘛？我過。好，咁啊成功越過咗條封鎖線啦，就冇乜問題嘅喎。過條封鎖線冇人阻我同另外一位行家。
過咗200幾個人嘅啦。
係咯，就得啲封鎖線嗱呢條應該都過得㗎嘛？呢條係啦，都冇問題啦。咁你嗱呢度都直播一陣咯。咁啊，Body Shop 西洋菜南街、銀行中心呢度都好多防暴。但係咧就圍起咗一個角度好特殊嘅封鎖線，其實即係我諗嗰個思維都係揾嘢綁嘅啫嚇。咁呢度就係喺柱呢度咧就綁咗落去個報攤側根嗰度。咁你見到右邊呢度其實都係揾位綁嚟喎。封鎖帶啦，就係最近討論得好勁，總之要揾綁嘅。如果唔係，就幾難去搞嘅封鎖線。咁呢度就圍到話呢個遮唔舒服。咁係啦，呢度係西洋菜南街旺角嗰一端個頭。喺呢度鎖緊唔到嘅。都係啦，我哋另外嗰條立場新聞，另外一條直播啦，咁就繼續係有同事睇緊個截查嘅情況啦。咁我呢度就喺旺角其他地方一路去睇咯。其實條線咁樣拉法係我都唔係好清楚佢想封啲咩嘅。咁啊，人亦都可以，即係若然你係想行過嘅話，都過到嘅。我擺邊個位好咧？擺喺呢度先啦，擺喺。而家你行人路人行。但係你咁樣打橫行出去嘛，好唔好啊？好唔好？係啦，好唔好？係啦，一定係。
各位嘅記者呢個係傳媒代表啊，傳媒兩個隊嘅代表。OK， 麻煩所有嘅傳媒代表，麻煩你向後褪，因為咧警方而家呢度偷偷移動，我哋會褪到足夠位置俾你哋咧係繼續拍攝嘅，好冇？幫幫手可唔可以繼續向後褪啦？
佢就會有一個足夠嘅位置俾呢一個嘅記者。
褪到邊度？
但係其實呢
度 OK。嗱，而家咧同現場嘅同事咧傾完啦，唔好再向前衝即係咧接觸我哋個防線啦，盡量嚇，唔該晒。
咁啊，佢哋叫我哋騰通翻條行人路出嚟，咁但係行人路咧喺傳媒聯絡組咧嚟到之後咧都係封咗嘅。OK。
有呢一個嘅服務警員啦，就喺馬路度要求記者啦，就快撐佢。
剛才咧，其實喺馬路中間啦、石角啦，同埋我都見到紅燈嘅，我喺呢個斑馬線上面嘅記者咧，就
好啦，咁入邊 SS 嗰個人咧就已經放翻出嚟啦。
喺度啊！呢一度咧就係記者有問題，入少少讓翻條行人路俾行人行馬路啊！馬路啊！啊記者們！
嗱，現場有記者，後邊有大量行人路㗎，麻煩你哋咧向住我嘅右手邊嘅方向褪過啲，呢位。呢位係啊，戴口罩，呢位女係啦，呢位戴口罩，麻煩你，你係咪採訪緊㗎？
咁就
你係咪採訪緊？係 OK， 麻煩你行埋啲啊，呢位。嗱，後邊有好多人行緊啦，唔該晒。戴黑色口罩呢位，你可唔可以行埋啲向我右手邊？我而家指住個方向。
你想人哋對你咪好相遇一開波
咁啊！行人路咧都仍然係封鎖當中嘅，有呢個嘅封鎖線。
前面嘅行人咧可以繼續向前行㗎，係可以過馬路㗎。
係淨係可以過馬路嘅啫，係唔可以向前行嘅。我修正一個嚇，因為條路已經封咗㗎啦。咁其實咧被逼行出馬路咧就係呢個啦，被逼行出馬路就係呢啲行人啦。喺警察後邊咧，因為警察咧擋住咗嗰個行人路，後邊呢度咧，咁後邊行過嚟嘅人咧，全部都係馬路嗰度嘅，咁啊唔關呢度事啦，咁佢已經講咗封咗線啦，大家見到。嗱，我哋再睇多次。
深藍色口罩你啊！
見到啊！嗱，被逼行落去馬路度嘅人，
採訪定係點樣㗎？
就係喺警察後邊行出嚟嘅人啦。
監察警方執法，你係負責啦，你而家唔係監察警方執法，警察執法緊係市民去負責監察嘅 ，OK？ 你哋係冇權利去監察嘅。區議員咪市民係咪？都係市民。
哦，佢知講錯嘢啦，因為平時咧係唔關事嘅市民都要趕走嘅，唔可以監察嘅。咁啊，講錯嘢啦，即刻走咗啦。
出嚟有啲話區議會講啦，
行得阿 Sir， 行得未啊？行得未啊？等多陣啊！等多陣啊！又考勤啊！好惡㗎，剔咗嘢嗰啲。
唉。
佢唔認咪即係默認啦，剔撚咗23K
啊！呢個條封鎖線都仲喺度嘅。
啱啱亦都有警員就話，即係解釋得好清楚，就叫市民就話唔需要咁多廢話。應該唔似嘅。亦都即係有警員就同市民講話，佢哋全部都有錄影，即係如果市民要上到法庭之後再講大話，亦都冇問題嘅。當然市民都不滿啦，即係點解會話市民係講大話？
我哋警方咧而家進行緊截停查啦，咁可能當中咧會涉及一啲個人私隱嘅。如果你哋係進行緊攝影或者一啲直播嘅， 咁切勿將有關個人私隱嘅嘢上載任何社交媒體。多謝咗。
都係嗰句啦，我哋就真係唔 zoom 太近啦，就免得真係如果影到市民嘅個人資料。咁但係即係相信頭先即係市民可能應該睇緊直播嘅立場新聞觀眾應該即係簡單嚟講都係真係市民唔滿意點罪令啦，人數即係唔足8個人嘅情況底下。
係啦，唔該你。唔好阻住記者採訪啦，唔該晒。唔好行睇後少少啦。
咁啊，啱啱其實係見到即係左邊呢位警員就係即係因為係封鎖線落市民，咁佢呢位警員就即係呼籲呢位市民唔好阻住記者採訪，叫佢即係行開啲咁樣咯。而家就係處理緊發告票嘅事咯。剛剛同警員爭辯嗰位男士就真係收到邊個啊？
記者留意啦，我哋警方進行緊截停查問，咁當中可能涉及一啲個人私隱嘅。如果你進行緊攝影，又或者進行緊直播嘅話，咁啊，切勿將一啲個人私隱資料咧就上載到任何社交媒體啦。
即係限聚令9次將今日嘅0:055月8號嘅0:00開始咧，其實就由4個就放寬到8個人啦。咁但係即係喺呢啲嘅運動場面、運動嘅場合上，其實就4個人、8個人都真係分別唔大啦。咁至於即係可能即係市民對於警方執法會有質疑嘅時候咧，咁其實翻個規例裏面咧，就係賦權咗俾執法人員去判斷究竟嗰個係唔係一個被禁止嘅群組聚集啊。咁即係簡單嚟講，就算你可能市民認為係唔足8個人咁但係即係執法人員認為係一個受禁止群組聚集，咁佢都一樣可以發出告票咁，就好似頭先嗰位女警所講，有咩就係可以上法庭嘅時候在身邊咁。咁但係發告票之下就係執法人員嘅權力啦，變咗。5·9就會延長去到暫時去到5月21號啊，即係5月21號之前都仲可能會有見到呢一啲即係警方發告票嘅畫面。咁當然21號之後會唔會延長就即係要再視乎疫情決策當局嘅判斷咁樣。 到其實即係頭先爭辯完之後，市民都冇再出聲啦，所以警方都講咗好多次話，即係所有
半個。你幫佢影告票，你介唔介意影告票個相，但係就唔出示你嘅個人資料，你可以遮，即係你個人資料係啦，你接一接啊，係啦，係啦，你幫佢影相，幫佢影相。係啦，好，唔該晒先生。呢邊出啊，呢邊。
Shit。
拉緊，記住啊。
搜查完嘅隨身物品啊，跟住就女士啦，就應該係由翻即係女警去搜身啦。
Facebook 畢咗我加 logo 啊，唔知點解我一加。唔知點解嗰個我加任何 logo 落去試過咧，佢都係開咗一個夜歌模式㗎。有冇觀眾可以幫我轉達翻啊 ？F5 再入過嚟睇啊！印細細個樣落去。喂，唔該晒，唔該晒，唔該晒，幫我轉達。咁啊，有一名市民啦就被放行㗎。
我本身就一個，我都行過對面搭車嘅啫。咁跟住嗰邊有嗌，咁我即係有隻公都唔講啦，咁企喺中間嘅啫。咁跟住佢哋就成家人衝咗埋嚟啦，跟住後就即係做咗幾個唔識嘅，佢哋話插片。
咁其實
而家咪有啲單據㗎。
係啊，我啱頭先後警完之後，即係有埋單嘅，佢都唔睇，佢就幫人報咗咯。
啱啱個警員話你，其實可唔可以講係咩事？
佢覺得我係講大話咯，但我係有埋單喺度嘅，跟住後佢都唔係睇都唔睇，又話就話跟住留翻同個官講咁樣咯。
而家咪出咗告票俾你？
係啊，係。
幫我講，如果唔得嘅話咧，就入過嚟啊！
嘅警告都未聽過啦，跟住後就咁即係叫咗幾個人唔識嘅。冇啊，我淨係得我自己一個嘅，即係行過嚟嗰年佢嘅警告都未聽過啦，跟住後就咁即係叫咗幾個人唔識嘅行出。
貴姓啊？
姓楊。
咁我想問下頭先理論緊嘅係發生緊啲咩事啊？
並唔係好滿意，即係問都唔問緊咩事都就話要攞身份證，跟住後即係話唔出告票或者點解要攞身份證都唔出，跟住後就想到想翻俾你聽。
好咁啱啱即係嗰位第一 一位被搜查咧，咁佢就話佢一個人嘅啫，咁一個人就即係都被話佢喂，咁佢頭先其實都有同警員有過一啲爭辯嘅，咁頭先即係畫面上我哋見到啦，就係即係由警員就同佢講話，即係我哋所有嘢都影低晒啦，咁你法庭講大話嘅，咁當然頭先問翻嗰位市民，佢都話即係警員就覺得佢會係即係講大話啦咁樣。咁即係轉頭翻，另外幾位被截查嘅市民可能就已經即係被安排喺另外一邊。咁而家就即係包括咗頭先即係同警員爭辯得都幾激烈嘅嗰一位男子，同埋應該即係佢嘅朋友，即係另外一個女子啊。咁而家剩翻兩個人。啱入嚟直播啦，咁就即係歡迎收睇立場新聞嘅直播啦。咁而家記者身處嘅位置咧，就係西洋菜南街轉入去山東街嘅往麥花臣球場嘅方向啦。咁就頭先咧，其實就即係有一班嘅市民就喺網上響嘅一啲號召喺旺角度有啲聚集啦，亦都曾經有過一啲堵路嘅情況。咁但係就好快已經俾警員就清理咗嗰啲嘅路。我哋見到咧，畫面見到嘅咧就係有幾位嘅市民喺藥房門口啦，咁就係俾警方話佢哋咧違反咗599G 章限聚令，咁所以就發告票。先見到咧係有9個人㗎，即係最初見到係有9個人。咁有啲市民就係攞告票之後就離開啦。咁頭先都曾經有過一啲即係被發告票嘅市民，即係就同警方爭辯啦，咁就話即係其實點解佢哋唔超過8個人嘅咁樣？咁警方就話即係呢個係即係佢哋嘅判斷啦。咁就話亦都話有啲咩咁你可以上到法庭再抗辯咁樣咯。咁而家仲剩翻最後一個係即係等緊，應該係等緊即係攞告票啊嘛。咁現場就都幾多警員嘅，或者可以即係俾大家睇一睇現場個警員。即係喺呢個西洋菜南街、山東街嘅十字路度咯，都有好幾十位嘅，即係至少目測都有幾十位嘅防暴警員啦。咁亦都有着住藍色背心嘅傳媒聯絡隊咯。咁就講翻，其實今日本身咧就係8號啦，8號5月8號咧，亦都係即係科大學生周梓樂同學嘅半年嘅忌日啦。咁本身今日都有啲活動喺唔同，咁就即係一啲悼念嘅活動咁樣啦。咁就但係本身就冇即係國呢一類嘅即係號召大家聚集嘅活動。喺晏晝立法會內務委員會嘅一啲風波擾攘咗，咁有啲即係市民就網民都唔滿意，即係覺得建制派做法唔滿意啦，咁所以就即係有號召就再出嚟所謂開花咁樣啦。咁而家見到咧，其實即係最後一位被截查嘅市民都剛剛都離開咗啦。就睇下警方幾時會即係解開封鎖線啦。咁我哋見到其實喺封鎖線外面，除咗記者之外咧，亦都有應該即係呢一區嘅港區議會嘅區議員咯。咁就即係而家睇翻，其實封鎖線裏面就已經係冇市民嘅啦，咁就全部都係警員啦。聽到有警員話再等多陣，咁應該意思就係再過多一陣先至解開個封鎖線啦。 除咗喺旺角啦，咁其實喺屯元天啦，即係屯門園科大啦，同埋上德十字路口啦，都有即係悼念周梓樂同學嘅活動啦。咁剛才亦都喺即係金鐘太古廣場都有網民發起咗一個叫和你Din啦，即係Dinner啦，和你Din嘅活動，咁就係即係中庭度叫口號啦。咁和你Din最後太古廣場就和平地完成咗咁樣，亦都冇警員即係進入商場，冇軍裝嘅警員進入商場啦，同防暴警員進入商場啦。警方開始應該準備拆佢個封鎖線。我哋都移動啦，向翻彌敦道方向，就睇下會唔會有其他事啦。見到警員應該係準備上車，就暫時撤離啦，有一批嘅警員。譬如就係呢個雙塔南街嘅十字路口位啊。嗰車上嚟咧都應該係準備上車㗎啦。咁根據翻之前有嘅準備上車啊！佢收翻條鏟帶㗎，係幾有手尾㗎。呢點係真係讚下佢啦，大佬！好少見到佢哋咁有手尾嘅黐線。我哋就向彌敦道方向移動啦。10幾個 TTRP 啦，同埋幾程嘅。咁你見到其實即係喺彌敦道嘅兩邊啦，都仲係有即係市民同埋即係記者係其實喺度聚集咁樣啦。咁就唔知即係警方即係如果要去嚴厲執行限聚令，咁係咪即係譬如企埋一齊嘅呢一堆市民咁全部都投票咁樣咧？咁我哋見到其實應該係警員就準備係即係去到彌敦道就上返其他警車開。其實現場就聽到有即係市民一路喺警員離開嘅時候一路鬧咁樣㗎。咁又見到其實即係警員應該撤離啦，咁我哋都或者係周圍望一望睇下啲咩情況。見到其實喺即係彌敦道上啦，咁其實就係路中間咧都仲係即係擺咗好多架嘅警車喺度啊。咁其實就算唔係呢一類嘅有嘅場面咧，其實如果係大家留意嘅話咧，近 呢幾個月啦，就係彌敦道經常都係擺咗着住燈嘅警車啊。咁其實亦都有警方解釋過嘅，咁即係冇記錯嘅話咧，即係之前公共關係科嘅總警司，而家係總指揮官咧，謝振中就喺區議會上講過啊，其實即係警方就認為咧呢一啲嘅行為咧，係有阻嚇嘅作用嘅，即係一啲佢哋認為需要布防嘅地方，但係一啲警車啊、警員啊擺喺度咁樣咧，係即係可以收到即係阻嚇嘅作用咁樣。咁所以就即係彌敦道呢度呢一個位啦，咁相信大家唔陌生啦，即係朗豪坊對出嘅呢一個位，就其實平時都係咁噶啦，都係有好幾架警燈咁擺喺度。擺一擺啦。係，即係只係陸續上車去撤離咁樣啦，應該。咁就即係想去睇翻點解，咁點解今晚即係咩原因群眾嘅活動咧？咁就即係當然一嚟就係科大同學周梓樂嘅忌日啦。咁另外咧都因為今日就召開呢個內務委員會嘅會議啦。咁今日會議就亦都比較特別啦，即係朝早同埋晏晝由兩個唔同嘅議員去主持啦。咁朝早就係即係公民黨嘅郭榮鏗去主持，又即係做呢個選舉內會主席咁樣啦。咁下晝咧就一個特別會議嚟，就係現任主席李慧瓊去主持嘅民建聯嘅李慧瓊，咁就係去做一啲所謂處理內會嘅一啲緊急啊、重要嘅務啦。咁就基於即係之前立法會主席梁君彥攞咗嘅一個外界嘅法律意見啦，就話即係當喺而家呢個情況底下，其實即係李慧瓊都仲係有權去主持會議，去處理內會嘅事務咁樣，一啲司法人員嘅任命啦，咁亦都即係張舉能法官任命佢即係去接替馬道立法官成為呢個終審庭嘅即係終審法院首席法官咯。咁呢樣嘢其實即係內會成咗半年㗎啦，咁即係民主派同建制派就多番交手啦，咁即係之前一路郭榮鏗議員即係主持會議，咁都話堅持話要俾所有嘅議員都即係可以去提出問題啦，咁樣。咁建制派就認為佢拉布啦。咁去到而家就即係之前都有個中聯辦、港澳辦發聲去批評，即係民主派亦都出聲話係干預啦。咁去到而家就衍生去到呢個法律觀點嘅爭執，即係就話究竟作為現任主席，亦都同時係參選緊去即係角逐新一個會期嘅內會主席，佢能唔能夠即係去主持會議咧？咁個故事好長啊，咁就係因為如此這般咧，咁所以到今日即係內會就照樣召開到下晝呢個所謂特別嘅會議啦。咁然後下晝照樣召開到呢個特別會議啦。咁之後就民主派同建制派都中間即係擾攘啦。咁最後簡單嚟講咧，就係即係所有民主派擠出會議室啊。咁事件就令到網民好不滿嘅幾個活動啦，即係包括金鐘、太古廣場嘅和你Din啦，同埋即係旺角嘅聚集。咁而家即係記者就喺彌敦道嘅位置啦。其實就警員應該都真係淨係準備離開嘅啫，因為都唔見有特別即係市民聚集佢有啲乜嘢嘅行動啊。咁當然即係之前睇翻，其實一次過走嘅，咁即係佢哋都有戰術上嘅部署啦，即係逐批咁離開啦。咁當然如果大家真係記得即係多次嘅直播裏面啦，其實 離開咗就即係唔係真係一定係離開咗嘅。咁如果即係警員離開，再有市民追襲啦，咁其實警員都可以即係翻轉頭啦。當然，因為之前都有好多次都係即係諗住成件事過一段落啦，咁市民又再出翻嚟追襲，咁警員又再翻轉頭。因為今日即係見到旺角嘅警力都算係比較多啊，咁亦都出動咗好多警車啦。咁我相信即係佢都要花上一啲時間先可以完，即係徹底咁撤離。彌敦道之外咧，我哋去翻另外一邊，即係往翻西洋菜南街嘅方向咧，其實可以見到係仲係封鎖線係未拆㗎，即係喺呢個港鐵站依出銀行中心廣場呢個位啊，其實就即係封鎖線未拆啦，亦都即係繼續喺度 stand by 緊啊。咁或者就警員未撤離晒，咁我哋都再觀察多一陣啦。或者都講多少少即係今日內委會嘅情況啦。咁其實如果大家都仲記得嘅話咧，係啦，咁上年逃犯條例啦修訂嘅時候，其實即係由石禮謙主持嘅嗰個會議咧，其實都係一個鬧雙包嘅情況嚟嘅。因為大家如果冇記錯咧，就本身會議真係由涂謹申咧，民主黨嘅涂持啦，因為佢係最資深嘅議員啦。係啦，會議真係選舉主席啦，咁亦都即係因為各樣問題咁一路選主席咁樣啦。咁後尾就出現即係石禮謙主持嘅另外一個會議咁樣啦。咁就係即係立法會內部就即係 circulate 咗，即係傳閱咗一個意見，咁就話即係開多個會好唔好啊咁樣啦。簡單嚟講，咁當然民主派議員覺得你點可以咁樣內部傳閱一次，大家話好咁樣就算咧咁樣，咁結果就鬧雙包咯。大家都應該歷歷在目啦，即係上年喺會議室裏面即係都多次有嘅衝突啦，甚至係肢體上嘅衝突啦。咁去到即係今年啦，咁所以其實我哋都話即係經歷過上次嘅教訓，點解你哋仲會有呢個鬧雙包嘅做法咧？咁樣即係民主派議員都有提出過呢一啲嘅講法啦。咁今次就即係唔係最資深議員啦，而係因為即係內會李慧瓊咧，佢本身即係呢個新會期嘅主席，咁所以佢就唔能夠主持，就由副主席內會。咁呢個即係內會主席係建制派議員，然後副主席係民主派議員，其實一直都係有咁樣嘅做法嘅，都算係一個即係議會內叫做大家去妥協共識嘅一個做法咁樣咯。咁而家即係民主派當然就會即係提出，假如果能夠喺9月嘅立法會選舉有唔同嘅形勢，咁係咪好多嘢都可以唔同咧？咁呢個就拭目以待。
休班期啱啊！我哋繼續睇翻亞皆老街情況啊！
咁如果有
今日呢個都多次啦，我哋休班嘅啫，咁行過。 咁其實警方嗰個嘅部署係好多啊，好多人喺度啊。嗱，我哋眼前呢啲都係東九龍總區嘅梯隊啊。嗱，佢哋開始咧將一啲記者啦，同埋一啲市民咧就踢走，即係唔係踢走嘅，叫做即係驅散啦。你都好攰喎，可能咪做咗3、4個鐘嘅應該。喺元朗嗰陣。嗱，而家現場咧係好誇張嘅人手啊、人力啊、警方。除咗有東九龍總區呢啲 Tier 2啊，即係第2梯隊之外，啊喺呢度外邊咧，我哋街尾嗰度就係水警嘅啊 Marine。咁啊，今日而家喺呢度咧嗰個嘅聚集嘅警察落地周圍行咧嗱，最西邊咧就行到去山東街近砵蘭街，最東面咧就行到去麥花臣球場啊。咁即係大家平時行開嘅嗰啲情嘅地方啦嚇，都係
我哋就會再
去旺角行開嘅。咁同埋大家見到咧，警員嘅裝備好充足㗎，啲雷明燈、散彈槍啊，啲彈啊咁咧都係啊，咁啊哇好笑喎！又行緊，頭先位警員話，即係你唔係記者跟住記者走做咩事咁樣？喂，其實唔係搞錯咗啊，係我哋跟住啲市民走啊，唔係我哋跟住啲佢哋跟住我哋走啊。咁啊，佢搞錯咗啊！咁啊，佢嘅方向離開，咁但係佢身後呢個時候係亞皆老街方向。咁啊，跟住即係企咗喺呢度，我剩翻呢一位警員喺度。呢位高級啲喎，呢位警署警長嚟嘅喎，呢位啊。喂，你好你好。咁啊，唔係好知警方想點？唔係好知警方啊！呢個好有趣嘅嗱，究竟嗌我哋嗰位警員嚟嘅嚇，哇噼哩啪啦咁嗌佢嚟，嗰個佢個高級過佢嗰位警署警長都未嗌，咁佢係嗌咗先㗎啦咁樣。嗱，當然呢個有趣嘅位係其實唔知點樣為之防線啊嗱，因為嗱大家見到呢邊係有市民㗎，
咁啊多謝各位支持立場新聞啦，
係有啲市民行過㗎。咪點樣去配合你先？你覺得即係咁咗咯？你兩邊落兩邊啊！我唔得，咁咪行兩邊咯，係啊，行兩邊。你全部行兩邊，行兩邊，行兩邊，好。嗱，其實啲行家係行咗兩邊㗎啦，係嘛？即係有一個人要行過，會唔會行唔到啊？啲市民行過啦，係咪？唔存在警員講嗰種嘅困難，又有市民行過啦，係咪？咁但係當然啦，我哋公道啲啊，嗰邊咧嗰個報攤嗰邊就咩啲嘅，就擠擁啲嘅。啊，康都攰啊，真係大佬啊！啲天氣咧而家好熱啊，真係唔係講笑。哇！呢邊又係咁影喎，呢邊影咩咧？呢邊有嘢啊，望下咯。哇！我哋行埋去已經有啲危險啦，警察又喺度啊！哦，截查啊，又截查。係截查，佢唔係截查，佢係叫啲人離開，即係坐喺惠豐中心唔係咁好，係啦。上翻行路記者。上翻啊，即係坐喺惠豐中心唔係咁好，唔係啊，我一個媽媽係咪一個小朋友啫喎？大家咧今日呢個費咧就真係揾交嗌嘅，真係啲警察走嚟問我哋做咩企喺度做乜嘢，咁企到梗係採訪喺度做乜嘢，咁啊但係真係嗱呢邊咧又拱緊埋嚟咁樣啊，今日真係天氣熱啊，咁啊傳媒聯絡又眼望望咁樣嚇，嗱呢個位其實冇乜特別嘢嘅啫，只不過好多警察啫。咁啊！呢位又話要拆，小心後邊好多人啊！我哋又見翻老總咯。咁啊，攞咗條橙帶啊！咁大家見到咧，而家咧就攞條橙帶出嚟，將我哋同警員咧就分隔開㗎。係咁鬧，係咁鬧。咁啊，真啊，拉緊一啲啊！哇！大家都天口慶啊，真係唔係講笑啊！而家天氣對我哋個採訪嘅工作啊， 有啲影響。
唔好意思啊，銀行中心出面嘅競爭成個行人路經晒，如果你哋盡量靠近翻銀行中心嘅方向企埋，讓翻出一條路俾人哋。
咁咧，警方嘅指示就好多變嘅，由上翻行人路啦，到上翻行人路之後就要我哋咧喺西洋菜南街咧移翻下加路街嗰方向啦。移咗之後咧就叫我哋
嗱，頭先係話可以企兩邊嘅喎，頭先可以企兩邊，而家變咗企一邊，係啦，而家變咗企一邊。
單邊都先
嗱，推埋手推添，係真係。頭先又話企兩邊，而家又話企一邊。
我講得好，我係講明㗎。
你講得好，
銀行中心嗰邊
你講得好清楚，頭先係放兩邊。頭先係話放兩邊。所有嘅記者唔該都盡量企翻去銀行。唔係所謂，我哋係記者，唔係所謂。
呢一個
冇所謂嘅記者。
記者唔該。
冇所謂嘅記者啊！
記者唔該。
咁啊，而家咧就攞條橙帶將我哋咧就圍起住先啦。
而家現場咧已經有過百記者啦，已經睇到咧已經係阻住人行中心出面行人路啦。而家另外嗰邊咧馬路咧亦都係咁，亦都咧阻得到咧。
你都過百幾差佬喎？
唔好差佬係警員，客氣啲警員係啦，就過百記者就影就會阻住咗。
行前啲唔
係呢度都要影㗎，呢度唔可以影嘅咩？呢度公眾地方嘛。
可以行前。
可以，唔係咩叫？
你有冇位俾佢行先得㗎？
唔係有冇得行啫？我哋喺呢度影啫嘛，呢個個街嚟㗎嘛。
明啊！
明啦嘛，明得啦，唔該啊，明得啦，唔該。哇！真係，我喺亞皆老街影嘅好合理啫。咦！我哋而家咁樣係上，我哋係上咗警察嘅直播。
呢個係佢係咪用 U 嘅咧？
直播。佢哋用。咁
咧見到咧，而家有個討論。
唔係直播，應該唔係呢個搜證嘅呢個。
呢個我嘅。咁見到咧，對將討論得好勁啊！嗰個封鎖線呢條橙帶，咁唔係話個個地方都可以揾到位綁嘅。咁如果冇位綁嘅話咧，或者唔想綁嘅話咧，就只好咧就揾手揦住。咁喺天水圍就見到有部分警員就帶備膠紙，咁就嘗試貼喺一啲比較平滑嘅表面咧，就好易甩嘅。咁啊，似乎警隊如果佢想個封鎖線係即係比較穩陣啦，咁呢個都係考慮嘅地方。咁當然其實呢個都唔係好最重要嘅，最重要究竟設喺邊度？有冇權或者係設立呢條封鎖線嘅原因係乜嘢？
咁啊，呢個十字好多記者啊，都係事實嚟嘅。不過你話造成阻礙就睇嚟都係好自由行去。咁啊，而家喺呢個惠豐中心揼框咧，都係好多警察啊、記者啊咁㗎啦。我都攞翻自己嚿嘢。
咁你見到其實有市民咧想過咧，完全過到，人推住架車仔上面有兩隻狗仔都係過到冇問題嘅。後邊有勁啦嚇！
我後邊睇下咯。今次係有啲傳媒都報過啊，即係報紙報過咧，就警察公共關係科咧就同部分傳媒，但冇我哋經過。其中一個方法就係，譬如喺我哋同埋警察中間咧有一條分開翻，即係我哋出嚟。
咁但係就似乎唔係每一個媒體都係警員判啊或者合作嘅對象啦。咁當然你話媒體係點樣同警員合作判咧，係呢個另外一個議題。因為喺好廣義上面，其實你喺現場我哋點樣採訪警員點樣擺位，其實都係某種協作嚟嘅。咁問題就係都係要做嘢，盡量大家完成到大家嘅工作，都係大家心中所諗。
即係今晚都係個別零星嘅一啲即係嗌啊咁樣啦，係嘛？
係啊，同埋都其實踏入呢個零月咧，就好多時嗌嘅主要嘅力量咧，就係來自啲中老年人啦，Uncle Auntie 啦，太子旺角就尤甚嘅。
嗯。但係呢個亞皆老街百老匯外邊係多人聚集嘅喎。
啊，街老街百老匯就係嗰邊都幾多人聚啊！
喂，我哋睇下 Chris 使唔使幫手先？
哦，
佢孭住個大腰。
大定細啊？大啊！
大佢。
你玩佢啊？你玩咯，你玩咯，好好。OK， 咁啊，而家繼續去影啦，得翻我一個喺度。
軍已經落台，清算嘅唔會太遠，你哋要小心。
呢架得㗎喎。強姦犯，
俾人去用，
殺人犯
，condom，始終要放棄，condom一隻
，condom一條咋？
喂，唔好，唔收得，真係唔收。
嚟試試啊！
走避，唔得，唔收得。喂，咁真係唔使，thank you，thank you。你唔可以咁啊！我特登揾你。呢邊有嘢喎。呢邊咧鬧警察嘅聲響咧就好犀利嘅。兩片。咁啊喺亞皆老街啦，百老匯出邊咧就好多人聚集，喺度嗌警察，喺度鬧警察咁樣嘅。
老婆同佢離婚啊！翻屋企自殺嘅。
繼續係聽到好多市民啦，就去鬧警察啦嚇，咁啊亦都不停去提及熱話啦嚇，有警員因為毒品嘅事故咧而去嚇，咁啊今晚就亦都有多2名嘅警員被捕咁樣嘅。 直播咧就有超過咗個半鐘㗎啦，咁好歡迎大家繼續收睇啦。現場係亞皆老街百老匯出邊。
全部企喺度。行開後啲。嗰個行翻後邊，行翻後邊，行翻後邊。佢又冇入嚟，我冇出口啊！行翻後邊，行翻後邊，行翻後邊，行翻後邊，行翻後邊，對面係咯，反翻行咗咯。唔該，唔該，全部向後退，唔該，全部向後退，我一齊開始啊！唔好再睇住啦！記者過嗰邊，記者過嗰邊，記者。麻煩眼神。咁你又話呢個平安咧，自換亂咧，幾人講㗎嘛？所有嘅記者立即過去先得，唔該嘅位置。過對面。對面啦！對面見到我同事喎，我同事嗰個位好少少，佢有得 zoom 啊，好似。喂，咁我無謂撞晒位，我見到有同事喺度，我去第二個位先。哇，整親手指頂。不如去街啦，不如去巡下條街啦，不如去巡下啲內街啦，橫掂呢度有同事，我去巡內街，我去巡內街。我入翻西洋菜南街不如。
同佢計較啦呢一啲，咁但係之後其實咧，有傳媒聯絡隊㗎。咁啊好奇怪，其實傳媒聯絡隊係做啲咩咧？咁啊警員過嚟話，大家都係警察，咁啊有咩同佢講都得。咁要傳媒聯絡隊嚟做咩咧？就咁我哋唔好理剛才嘅一啲小衝突先。咁啊見到而家咧對面有一啲嘅
係呢個
暫時睇就應該係啦，就係一個截停搜查。
就過馬路啦，就衝咗過嚟呢一度。位置百老匯隔離雲安大廈對出嘅，咁咧就眼前所見咧，呢度就有四隊咧係對停嘅。好似係完全識話係指嘅，一陣再數翻馬路份就截停咗一批嘅男女啦。頭先係毫無先兆地，突然之間咧，佢哋話衝咧就衝咗過嚟呢一個百老匯嘅呢一個位置。對面嘅電器鋪咧就係有呢個截停搜查。大批嘅記者就上去調查呢個咧，咁佢哋都係一度係舉起胡椒噴落去指嚇在場嘅記者嘅。咁而家咧條封鎖線咧就褪到去對面馬路啦，係另一邊嘅。咁啊，而家警方就拉起咗佢哋，終於拉起咗佢哋橙色封鎖線啦，就將記者咧就全部都推到晒過去嘅佢哋截停搜查嘅對面馬路啊。咁其實一路都係一個合理嘅採訪距離啦。咁而家其實小巴遮住咗咧，都已經係真係影唔到啦。即係我哋都只不過係要真係錄低嗰個執法嘅過程啊，唔明白點解要搞到咁。 咁
咁喺講翻喺小巴嘅後面咧，咁其實即係而家俾小巴遮住嗰度咧，就一字排開有一批嘅市民，而家係被截停搜查緊啦。
71行出嚟嘅市民咧，都係俾佢哋。
好啦，咁而家應該睇得比較清楚啦。
記者呢兩位記者企咗喺欄杆上面咧，你唔單止係咧對自己個生命咧有危險啊，你可能有咩架撐有咩其他嘢咧跌落嚟咧，影響到其他人。我哋有另一個冇黃色背心㗎，你係咪記者嚟㗎？
咁啊，聽到傳媒聯絡要求啊，不停咁樣要求呢個記者着翻呢個黃背心啊。咁我就有着到咗黃背心啊。咁但係其實即係行家們佢哋係咪？即係咪一定要做黃背心先係記者咧？咁因為其實根據翻警察通例咧，就黃背心就唔關事啊。就其實我哋就要出示翻嘅，應該要出示翻嘅就係證件啦。咁有記者證啊，咁樣就可以啊。咁啊，或者都繼續講翻即係對面截停搜查情況啦。見到大約係有1、2、3、4、5、6、7、8、9。咁啊，見到至少有9位啊。
嗱，現場採訪緊嘅記者，請你展示你哋嘅記者證，同埋咧將你哋黃色反光背心咧著翻上身啊！
係咩？見到9位嘅市民係淨係即係被截停搜查啦。唔好意思啊，呢個地面有少少唔平，咁啊盡量揸穩少少。好，被截停搜查，咁啊應該都係會即係拘捕佢，唔係拘捕 ，sorry 啊，就係去即係發告票啦，檢控佢哋即係違反限聚令啦。咁順帶一提，限聚令而家嘅人數上限就係8個啦，咁而家就啱啱好9個人啦。咁其實頭先喺山東街嗰邊咧，亦都係啱啱好捉咗9個人嚟發告票，咁就真係唔知。咁咧，其實而家警員咧都真係掹出咗佢哋嘅胡椒噴劑啊。我就唔 zoom 去睇嗰啲胡椒噴劑啦嚇，大家都應該都見慣見熟咁就，竟然都準備咗佢胡椒噴劑啦，咁亦都有啲警員拎住槍械啦，咁當然相信就暫時冇需要使用住嘅，應該都冇諗住使用嘅。嗱，咁其實而家對面咧就即係有一啲嘅擾攘嘅，應該可能係有一啲市民真係不滿同即係警員有啲爭辯啦。記者而家全部被逼住咁樣趕晒過嚟對面嘅時候咧，記得清楚。咁究竟即係點樣為之一個合理嘅採訪距離咧？我哋暫時都係繼續影住即係電氣鋪前面嘅情況先啦。見到警員亦都一字排開在前面。真係好費解，就係跟記者趕晒對面，然後你嘅夥計一字排開，咁其實又點樣去即係引導咧？ 一定夠8牌先做啦，咁咧連咗8個，佢起碼拉個翻個10幾個先。
就前邊呢俾人截場嘅市民人數咧，大概應該係有9個，有唔差有9個市民啦。9個嘅數字係超咁啦！依家新生效限聚令，最多8人聚集嘅個。
試下睇下可唔可以個腳架擺得靚仔少少。
知警方對佢嘅8個人嗰個表控，係見到一個截場嘅工作喺度做緊。
呢個睇落會有拉闊少少個影像啦，講多次啦，而家嗰個位置咧就喺即係亞皆老街、通菜街嘅交界位咁，咁就喺一個電器鋪前面就有9名嘅警員截停搜查，就可能係會即係發告票俾佢哋話佢哋違反限聚令啊。咁喺隔離嘅便利店咧，其實都另外有一批嘅市民係被截停搜查㗎。講翻啦，即係頭先本身市民咧就係有批市民喺呢個電器鋪嘅門口就嗌口號同聚集啦。咁當時警方就喺西洋菜南街亞皆老街交界惠豐中心嘅位置布防，咁就經過幾次嘅警告之後咧，咁警方就 就突然即係向前跑咁樣啦，就要去檢控呢一班市民隨住警方嘅腳步啦。咁啊去到就係而家大家鏡頭前面見到嘅呢個市民被截查呢個位置，咁警方就即係突然之間就擰轉身就要求記者向後褪，咁中間亦都有一啲肢體嘅碰撞啦，即係佢亦都試過擁呢啲記者啦，亦都有掹出佢哋即係胡椒噴劑咁樣。咁而有趣嘅係咧，咁其實現場咧係有大約10名，即係我哋叫做 MMLC 啦，即係傳媒聯絡隊嘅。咁佢哋嘅工作本身就應該係即係協調呢啲場面啦，等記者可以做到佢哋採訪之餘，咁就等佢哋嘅同袍都可以。但係頭先就即係警員係完全就係凌駕咗 MMLC 嘅，咁就即係主動去擁記者啊，要求記者褪後啊咁樣。咁其實即係記者呢邊都多番要求，即係同傳媒聯絡隊聯絡啦，即係揾翻一個合適嘅距離啦。咁到即係好後期之後，傳媒聯絡隊先介入翻啦。咁啊，警員就話即係同傳媒聯絡同佢講都一樣啦，兩個都係警察啦咁樣。咁啊，真係好費解咁大概佢係傳媒聯絡隊啊嘛，咁即係點解咧？好，咁嗰啲就講咗幾次都唔再講啦。咁總之就我哋而家就睇翻呢個電器行前面嘅情況啦。
佢嘅定性咧冇咁大嘅，但係代表佢係設定嘅咁耐呢部，咁所以香港警察使用緊呢個武器。
見到其實而家封鎖線啦，拉起咗佢封鎖線咯。咁就無論喺記者呢一邊啦，定係喺另外一邊啊，都係拉起咗封鎖線。OK 啊，電話 OK， 都係一貫嗰啲情況。我走。好。我因為附近影相叫佢。哦。咁啊，啱啱同事經過啊，帶嚟一個問候。我哋先近少少啦。咁啊，即係被截查嘅，咁都似乎都係年輕人居多。係啦，又係即係小巴同警員又係擠住咗。即係呢個就係點解我哋好長氣都講咗好多次嘅，即係合理嘅採訪距離。就係其實而家咁樣佢即係行嚟行去嘅時候，其實我哋真係好拉嗰個執法嘅過程。咁啊，其實即係對雙方都冇好處啦。即係先排近就會搞成咁啦，就因為冇辦法啦，拉翻都係拉翻歪少少，起碼見到嗰個執法嘅過程。 錄靚少少，可唔可以穩定少少先？係好啦，而家咁樣好。咁但係依然前方都係車啦。其實咧，即係見到啊，喺即係有啲傳媒聯絡隊向嗰邊跑緊啊，咁唔知係咪發生咩事？咁或者我哋不如先向嗰邊望一望。喂，有啲 MMLC 去咗嗰邊。邊嚟啦？向嗰邊跑。你哋做嘢先啊，快啲！好，而家我哋就係向住頭先傳媒聯絡隊跑嘅方向，跟住過去睇睇先。警察又要求我哋褪啊！而家褪啦，我行唔到喺嗰度。好，咁我哋唯有兜路啊！前面，小心！轉咗呢個位，呢個位。好，我哋過咗嚟就係對面馬路啊！快啲變啦！咁啱就係呢一個位啊，只係又有一啲應該係行家同警員嘅一啲衝突。因為就傳媒聯絡隊急腳咁跑過嚟咁就，真係唔好睇到而家咩情況。盡量都唔好落馬路啊！呢條路入面有水包嘅仔啊，傷害自己嘅個人安全嘅啫。相信其實剛才應該都係喺呢一邊採訪嘅行家就同警員可能有啲爭辯啦，又要路法隊跑過嚟處理。呢度行翻去啦，行翻去啦。其實睇翻而家即係前面就冇咩特別事，咁都係另一個角度嘅，即係截查頭先嘅嗰一批市民。睇車，睇車，快啲！再從記者朋友同出翻條記者背心，我已識別啊。傳媒聯絡隊又多次要求在場記者着翻背心。呢個位就其實真係影唔到，所以我哋行出去另外一邊啦。呢啲現場上面傳媒同警方嘅爭辯就周不時都有。講真，真係冇人信。我哋冇啦，冇辦法啦，唯有又翻去另外一邊。呢邊嘅行人路，呢度 拜託。多謝呢位行家，真係讓咗我嘅。有條碼，咁但係咧係啦，咁呢個位都睇到啦，就係先話喺便利店門口就有截查另外一批嘅市民啦，咁啊數數有咁9名啊，唔係10名，咁啊應該係呢度便利店門口有10名嘅市民。就被截查，係即係的士係遮住咗，咁但係大家都見到就係一字排開啦。呢兜嘢點嚟？鬆強少少。就見到啦。好啊，小巴後補。好啦，就係嗰兩個。咁我哋或者又喺度擺一擺先。講啦，而家呢一度就係通菜街嘅位置啊，咁就係當財警員仔去南街、亞皆老街交界嘅位置咧，就即係警告喺呢一邊嘅市民就違反限聚令599G章，咁之後就警員就喺呢邊嘅即係跑咗過嚟啦，推進之後而家就截查咗兩批，即係目測見到至少兩批係市民啦，咁一批就9名啦，另外一批就應該係10名，咁應該就會即係發告票俾佢哋，就話佢哋違反599G章，即係限聚令，即係多於8人嘅聚集。咁其實今好幾次咁樣嘅情況啦，之前都有市民真係同警員爭辯過啊，其實佢只係2個人行街咁樣，咁即係得到最後簡單嚟講，得到最後嘅回覆就係即係有咩上法庭講。
咁啊比較。
佢喺度不斷整，佢傾咗陣間計咯。阿星係，但係你孭呢套係最重嘅喎，呢嚿嘢啦，跟住而家呢嚿嘢啦，你唔用 load 大腰啊？冇 load，冇手 load，冇手 load 啦。今日太多嘢啊，係啊，啲嘢派晒出去，呢套嘢天殘地缺得，係都好好，係啊，好彩你體力好啊，好攰啦已經，同埋。 你洗出嚟好耐㗎啦。
唔係細 U 真係好難，
細 U 嚟嘅。
大 U 好恐怖。
係，盡可能用大 U 啦。
冇啊，
好多人
壞咗，
今日整翻啊嘛。
咁都破萬先。
咁都係。呢啲意外性嘅嘢係想嘅，盡量啦，盡量補救。但係你識咁樣接都好好喎。
咁以前做過係咁，即係喺度。睇翻現場嘅情況，其實都係見到即係警員就應該喺度收集緊啲個人資料啊，跟住最後就會發告票啦。咁如果大家見過即係限聚令嗰張相，即係 A5 咁大張啊，即係就唔同牛肉乾唔使張。所以有時都大家都盡量就唔敢 zoom 得太近，因為佢咁大張嘅時候咧，其實啲個人資料可能真係聲明啦，身份證號碼就寫咗喺上面，咁影相。咁啊，傳媒聯絡隊其實都不停咁樣開咪講㗎啦，即係話小心影到人哋嘅個人資料。係啦，即係警員就會影到其他人嘅個人資料。咁其實而家都即係時間都去12點鐘啦，咁即係都過咗12點鐘，去到5月。今日就即係對於關心，即係時政嘅市民嚟講，都係漫長一日啦。即係由朝早嘅立法會內會開始啦，一路去到晏晝第二個嘅即係內會嘅特別會議啦。咁啊有一輪嘅擾攘啦，之後去到太古廣場啦嘅和你Din啦，即係旺角呢邊啦，咁同埋即係屯門元朗天水圍嗰邊一啲即係周梓樂同學嘅紀念嘅活動啦，跟住上側十字路口都各自有一啲即係追悼嘅活動啦，咁就其實真係多區嘅群眾活動。咁啊，相信即使係即係喺屋企去留意翻各區新聞嘅，都覺得今日真係好多嘢啊！漫長嘅一天。咁啊，見到其實對面咧，呢一個嘅截停搜查就有好幾位警員，即係圍攏住一位市民。咁啊，呢位警員遮住咗，佢後面就有好幾位警員，大家都隱約見到咁啊，圍住咗個市民咁啊。唔知係唔係有一啲嘅爭辯啊？應該係圍住咗一位男子啊。因為即係限聚令嘅告票，咁好多時候都唔服氣啦。即係好多市民都覺得佢唔係而家係白人啦，即係唔係白人以上嘅聚集咯。咁但係咁事實上執法人員又的確係有權去判斷你嗰個聚集係咪一個受禁制嘅群組聚集。所以冇辦法，即係爭辯完之後，佢都係會發出告票嘅。見到有幾位警員就扶住咗呢位市民啦，應該就睇下係咪真係只係送佢離開定係點咧？咦，咁又似乎係帶走咗一名嘅男子喎，睇下。就被警員帶走咗啦，就係頭先喺便利店門口啊，揸住邊嘅應該被拘捕帶走㗎啦，先喺便利店門口被截查㗎啦。咁啊，而家就睇嚟要上警車。車牌6333。因為男子就被帶上警車。 就可能係大地之啊。因為頭先咧，
少少企翻人路，你可以入少少，你哋企翻人路啊。
頭先咧，佢就
兩分後少少。
見到啦，有警員就係質問等巴士嘅市民係唔係等巴士啊？咁我哋睇下換個角度。基本上而家警車閂咗門之後，基本上都睇唔到嘅。頭先嗰位被帶走男子本身就應該喺便利店嘅門口度被截查，同埋應該最初都係即係依據警員嘅警告佢，即係違反限聚令。但係喺搜查之下就唔知咩原因就將佢帶走咗啊！上咗呢一架警車。哇！咁遠啊佢哋。呢架警車就隸屬於九龍東啊，大家會見到即係 KE 啊，就應該係即係。相信一陣間就會將即係被帶走嘅男子就帶返警署啦。見到警車駛走啦。我哋都暫時可以翻過去截查嘅位置。
點解仍然會俾適維持你哋拍攝嘅？
聽到傳媒聯絡隊話，警方會俾適當嘅位置入。落翻個腳架。
你唔好擺個腳架啦，好冇？一係就行埋啲，好冇？你個擺個腳架啱啱先叫人哋褪後。我接起個腳架啦，好冇？好嘛？咁樣好冇？咁你盡量行埋少少，好冇？因為呢位小姐已經我叫佢幾次褪我都合作，你又抄個架埋嚟。
聽唔到嘛？頭先係咪？即係你同佢講嘅時候，我未過嚟啊嘛。
係咯，咁我
你講我明，咁我而家褪開少少啦。
哇，行埋少少好嘛？佢已經一路動個架喺度，唔係唔俾你拍好冇？行埋少少唔該。配合警方嘅要求啦，咁佢想我哋褪埋少少啦，想空翻條路出嚟啦，咁一個合理嘅原因嚟嘅，就係空翻個行人路嘅位置。咁我哋截起個腳架啦，唔好打開佢啦。重複又重複好多次啦，好冇？唔該你。多謝 Sir，thank you。
現場嘅警方表示啦，今次就係對呢一單案係咪票控啦，咁就係，但係如果再有一件佢哋咧，就會係拘捕啊。拜拜。
見到電氣鋪門口都仲係做緊呢個截停搜查啦，同埋應該可能即係應該係會發告票啦嚇。反而係即係便利店嗰邊就幾乎處理曬，一邊先開始處理緊。咁但係我哋見到即係某一啲市民咧，被截查嘅市民咧，手上就拎住一張紙張啦，咁就即係疑似係告票啦，似嘅。
係咪一邊係被搜查？
唔俾你拍，你可以喺度，好冇？冇問題。呢個咁樣得 ，OK， 好冇？又嗱，你又同我呢條線，佢又同我呢條線，好冇？好難稱㗎啦，呢條線，好嘛？唔該。
明白。
或者你影
我唔喐㗎啦，我唔喐㗎啦。我呢個。係啊，落隊就條線係咁樣，好難做啊。都明白嘅，大家各自嘅崗位啦，我哋呢個位就唔喐㗎啦。
告票，但係就
都冇係真係要人眼做。先近少少啦，咁其實應該咧就係。 一有行家就再俾我哋再行多埋少少啊嘛。望落就似係嗰個限聚令嘅告票。我哋暫時咁樣觀察先。到即係被截查嘅市民收到，應該係收到告票之後咧就放走啦，咁就向翻即係西洋菜南街嘅方向放佢哋走啊。咁嘅截停搜查應該就暫過一段落。所有頭先被截查嘅市民應該都即係除咗被帶走嗰位男子咧，其他都好似就放走咗啦。咁就其實即係市民都截查都走晒啦。喺嚟緊就應該係等警方就解封翻個現場啦。見到警員都真係似係準備撤離啦。見到而家警員就追查人截查市民嘅嗰個位置，咁應該集合之後就會離開啊，離場。落隊亦都真係似係準備離場。因為都夜深啦，其實就即係似乎就應該再冇其他嘅行動啦，暫時。咁附近亦都應該再冇即係市民聚集同嗌口號啦。咁當然係即係即使12點幾啦，始終星期五晚嘅旺角就熱鬧嘅。瞓乜咗俾人？喂，係唔好意思啊，咁啱啱個咪跌咗，如果真係有啲雜聲量嘅撞擊聲嚇親，唔好意思啊。講翻現場情況啦，現場情況就真係警員都準備撤離啦。
即係警方啱啱一開始嚟到就即刻發出咗告票。
我喺入邊睇緊動物，睇有咩賣。
你喺7分入邊嘅當時？
我喺7分入邊，我同佢都係7分。
係，咁然之後就有同警員衝入嚟就。
佢哋出邊好嘈，所以我都望一望，咦出邊發生咩事咧咁樣。咁跟住佢就應該未入到嚟嘅，但係就叫我出去咯。
門口叫你出去。
門口叫我出去，跟住叫呢個都出埋去咁。
係，咁然之後就拉你埋一邊，就同其他人一齊點樣就分。
係啦，跟住就話得啦，呢度全部冇晒啦，咁樣咯。
當時出邊應該有我估四個度啦，4個人已經係企喺洞口右手邊俾人 stop and search 啦。
係夠8個人嘅，佢發出告票嘅時候。
問我數啊，
有冇印象夠唔夠8個人？
我唔肯定啊，但係總之一定超過5、6個咯。
超過5、6個。
都有大概㗎啦，因為即係嗰下冇數到，唔好意思。
好，唔緊要，唔該晒你，唔該晒你。
係啦，咁樣。
有冇其他人有嘢問？
咁好啦，咁其實就係唔夠8個人嘅，
但我點都要強調啦。
你間埋嚟又唔出聲。好，我哋過翻去揾翻朋友做乜？好啦，咁頭先嗰位市民咧就話佢喺個便利店啦，就買緊嘢嘅，其實同男朋友。咁一出嚟就俾呢個警方咧就抄咗呢個2000蚊嘅告票。咁佢話8個人嘅限聚令啦，咁但係佢又解釋唔到，喺會2個人佢哋都抄咗2000蚊㗎。
話唐奕迅嗰個咩蛋喺嗰個咩天水圍度問阿姐，你今日俾人打啊？一齊嘅，我屌你！
應該對面有聲啦，咁其實大部分開呢個亞皆老街、通菜街嘅地方嘅位置啊。又做乜啊？
佢冇特別做咩嘢，淨係拉我出去，跟住就話告啦咁樣咯。咁我當時同我男朋友。
嗱呢度又搏咪啦，其實我都唔知點解搏咗，即係而家就2個啫。
我同我男朋友2個，但係佢可能喺7分都未拉到線嘅。
有啲抄，有啲唔抄。
太多人啦，有處理呢位女士被人哋無理票控啊！因為嗰位女士聽佢講佢係俾人拉埋去嘅。
咁我哋見到油尖旺區議會嘅區議員啦，就即係俾咗卡片被票控嘅市民。
我等一陣出㗎啦，你都。咁咧，頭先有一段咧喺上新聞咧。
咦，咁想問，其實會點樣去跟進咧？即係啱啱見到你俾咗卡片市民咁樣啦，即係關於嗰個限聚令。
個人覺得可以揾啲律師探討下佢嗰個個案，睇下有冇得拗咯。
係。
所以都要先去了解翻佢嗰個當時個即係嗰個實際嗰個狀況先，因為始終呢個人都難啲問嘅。可能之後有翻我哋嘅時間就再問下個狀況佢，再諗下一步點樣去。
係，即係假如市民真係佢想去上庭再有申辯嘅，你哋真係會提供協助。
我哋嘗試幫佢揾律師嘅義務律師支援。
係，咁你今日即係喺現場見到，即係都好似有觀察住警方。其實你哋見到嗰個情況，你哋覺得係點樣？
我個人就覺得都係多此一舉啦，完全接近啊，冇人示威啊，啲人都係啲街坊噏幾句口號，差人好似如臨大敵咁。今日又過百個防暴警察喺度周圍巡邏啊，即係不必要啊，完全。
咁對於即係限聚，即係向市民發告票咧？
我覺得係一個殺雞用牛刀，即係一個咁細嘅罪咧，你揾咁多防暴警察去巡邏啊，揸晒槍啊，胡椒噴霧，佢哋去捉翻啲大賊嗰個啦，即係啲小市民 即係聚集下小事啫，我覺得佢浪費警力。
明白。我諗呢個係最簡單就係其實呢兩位咁樣，可能佢真係啱啱拍拖經過嘅時候，咁佢嘅目的就已經同其他人唔同㗎啦嘛。咁我在場嗰度數過，其實就應該係夾埋應該係應該少過10個人。咁你扣佢兩個之後，其實真係得7個人。咁冇理由將嗰7個人同佢係咪？即係邏輯上係講唔通，即係9個人一齊拍拖，即係你冇可能㗎嘛。即係覺得佢呢個告發其實就係揾嘢嚟搞啦，亦都係我諗佢嘗試想去嚇啲香港人，想佢哋唔出嚟。但係個問題係香港，即係此其一。其二就係其實我今晚我自己觀察咧，其實我由大角咀邊掃過嚟咧，其實見到有幾個好得意現象嘅。一個咧就係咧，佢今晚係借調咗批應該係九龍東嘅警察過嚟。咁其實嗰批人有冇需要係要跨區咁樣借過嚟咧？即係你跨總區借過嚟嘅時候，咁即係除非今晚就好大件事嘅啫。即係你話係啦，即係除非你話今晚有啲好大型嘅活動，咁但係你而家睇到去到而家為止。又唔係大家想像中咁大型喎，咁要借到其他總區嘅人過嚟咧。第一，第二就係咧，有一句好得意嘅，揸住啲超龍車過嚟咧，其實咧就本身咧過嚟嘅，咁然之後跟住咧見到我哋去影佢咧，咁啊即刻熄晒入面啲燈，熄晒嘢咁啦。然之後佢哋又唔察覺自己咧，原來個頭上面咧就有啲熒光嘅燈喺度嘅，咁啊變咗就更加佢哋人喺度。即係我好笑嘅，其實我行出嚟我有嘅，其實我亦都將嗰張相po上我個人嘅 Facebook，實在太過匪夷所思，即係佢哋以為係大家睇佢唔到咩？咁唔係噶嘛。同埋第三就係咧，佢今晚對於議員嘅狀態好差，即係頭先我同林小斌議員咧就響前面教協嗰邊啊，
山東街，
係山東街嗰邊。咁咧其實咧佢就會話咧就話咧大概意思就係議員就並非市民，咁議員就不能夠去響度咧就去影佢哋，係啦咁。咁然後在場嘅市民都係起哄嘅，咁其實當然就因為其實我哋兩個就只係監察翻個狀況啫。但係佢講到個狀況就係我哋係好似唔係人咁嘅樣，即係咁呢個就係有啲好奇怪咁啦。呢個可以俾翻阿林議員再去補充翻多少少嘅。係啊，
嗰個係傳媒聯絡嘅警員添啊，仲要係佢一開頭就問阿曾志明係咩人，跟住佢就話係議員，咁然後嗰個警員咧就話議員係唔能夠監察警員，佢話市民先可以監察警員，即係佢個邏輯好奇怪，即係唔知點解議員唔能夠監察啦，同埋唔知點解議員唔係市民啦。跟住之後我哋鬧佢幾句，跟住佢自己就唔出聲就走咗啦，係啦。
明白，好，唔該晒兩位，唔該晒。
唔該俾我補張相先。
咁啱啱見到嘅就係即係油尖旺區議會嘅區議員啦，林兆斌同埋曾志明啦。咁佢哋就真係提到就啱啱被票控嘅市民啦。咁佢哋就即係向嗰位市民就提供咗卡片，咁就可唔可以幫到佢咁樣啦？咁就即係提到話假如市民係需要一啲即係法律上嘅支援，咁可能佢哋都會即係揾一啲律師去幫手咁樣啦。咁係啦，嗰位啱啱嗰位即係女士啦，就話其實佢係同男朋友一齊喺即係便利店出嚟，咁被指話係同其他即係7個人一齊咁樣就話限聚令啦咁樣。嗰啲女士當然就真係覺得不滿啦，咁所以就向咗區議員求助咁樣。咁另外即係區議員都話，即係就覺得啱啱林兆斌都有提到就話，即係今晚警方嘅執法就去形容就係即係殺雞用牛刀啦，即係佢話限聚令本身就係一個佢認為係一個輕微嘅罪行啦。咁點解即係輕微罪行都要出動咁多嘅防暴警員咧？咁甚至即係曾志榮就話，甚至要喺即係九龍東即係喺另外一個度調即係警員過嚟咧咁樣。咁呢一啲都係即係兩位區議員提出嘅即係疑問啦。咁佢哋亦都有講話，即係有傳媒聯絡隊嘅警員就同佢哋講話，即係議員就唔可以監察警方嘅市民先可以嘅。咁呢個講法都係啦，即係都幾新奇啦咁樣。咁佢哋就話即係再問多兩句，咁嗰位警員都冇再出聲啦。咁現場嘅情況其實就見到警員就應該全部撤離啦。咁現場即係得翻即係記者啦、區議員啦，咁同埋即係可能路過嘅市民啦嚇。咁就既然係咁，今日我哋嘅直播就喺旺角嘅直播就去到呢度都差唔多，多謝大家即 支持立場新聞啦。咁希望我哋將來嘅直播大家都會繼續支持啦。咁又或者係有啲咩報料都歡迎去我哋嘅 Facebook inbox 俾我哋。咁啊，多謝大家支持立場新聞，再見。
咁啊，大家好啊！歡迎收睇高登新聞台啊！喂，記住啊，喂 ，share、like、follow 啊！呢3樣必做啊，已經係最大嘅支持啊！咁啊，之後嗰2樣啦，月費同贊助，隨心嘅，隨心嘅，中意嘅就可以做啊！咁啊，支持我哋嘅，跟住現金支持我哋就可以照做，係啊！如果想錫啖我嘅，咪喺度留低個心心啊！Hi， 你好啊，你好啊！企喺度講口罩，唔喺呢度講啦，咁辛苦。喺寫字樓嗰張台坐得咁舒服，你叫喺度講口罩。阿伯話底褲都溶咗啊！哇，咁嘅天氣着咁嘅造型啊，梗係熱啦！佢着住嗰條咁嘅褲都話熱啊！我真係心諗，哇！啲防暴咪仲乸熱。我咪新聞小花，大家好啊！我係傻喵，高登新聞台，我係傻喵啊！我做齊咪多謝你，真係多謝你，真係多謝你啊！一定有你哋，我哋先會喺度噶。冇觀眾支持，我哋係絕對唔會成功，係。咁我哋業會我屋企好多條咯，唔使啊！攞老母嗰條熱褲着咯，真係我老母啲褲，攞女朋友嗰啲熱褲着都得㗎，應該。點解冇女記者？梗係冇錢啦！有錢嘅而家有女啱先，冇錢嘅講。呢度講得粗口講閪咩？嗱，不如咁講啦，喂，嗱，好老實嘅。阿堅啊，呢度有千幾名觀眾喺度，不如我問你，如果一個叫做喺普世度睇落去，佢係一個靚女嘅女仔，佢會唔會啊嚇咁辛苦去做一份，又要隨時俾人顏射嘅工啊，又要俾人鬧嘅工，又要冒住呢個撞到手腳瘀咗嘅工作，啱唔啱先？唔會有噶嘛，好難得會有嘅，仲要係啊！善喺法國啊嘛，法國好安全，法國嗰啲催淚彈當歸嚟噶嘛，爆講啊，當多啲。有人同我講話得喎，咁啊冇啊，冇乜啊。
Now, as I move to my next subject, I want to begin by saying this. Look, our rank and file,
招女喎，我冇錢點招啊？有錢我。
They protect this country from domestic crime, and we thank them for their service. We owe them a debt of gratitude. But that is separate and apart right now. The FBI exists to investigate crimes. But in the case of Lieutenant General Michael Flynn, it appears that they might have existed to manufacture one. As the motion filed by the Department of Justice yesterday explained, the FBI set out to interview General Michael Flynn when they had no predicate for any investigation of any crime. Over the past week, we learned from a handwritten note the true and behind the FBI's investigation of Lieutenant General Michael Flynn. The very day that then FBI Director Jim Comey sent agents to the White House to interview Flynn, the FBI discussed what their intent was beforehand. This is what they said. What is our goal? Truth, admission, or to get him to lie so we can prosecute him or get him fired? These notes, in addition to other evidence, raise serious questions about the FBI's handling of Michael Flynn's case. Did the FBI confront Flynn with the intent to get him to lie so that we can prosecute him and fire him? Did the FBI manufacture a crime against Lieutenant General Michael Flynn? Federal investigators appeared to paint a target on the back of General Michael Flynn. Kimberly Strass, the Wall Street Journal, laid out point by point the very concerning aspects of this case, and I'm going to reiterate them as outlined in her column over the weekend. In December 2016, spoke as the incoming national security advisor to the Russian ambassador. This call, as is customary, was recorded by the United States government. They record calls with foreigners. But a regular move. The intelligence community under the Obama administration unmasked the identity of Michael Flynn, a United States citizen who is entitled to Fourth Amendment rights and to due process. But Lieutenant General Michael Flynn received none of that. The intelligence community was hunting for evidence against General Flynn, evidence they did not find. We learned from newly released transcripts that in stark contrast to what former DNI James Clapper had been saying, publicly, and contrary to what he was saying publicly, here's what he was saying prior regard to Russian collusion. I never saw any direct imperial campaign or someone in it was plotting or conspiring with the Russians to meddle with the election. Sounds awfully different from what he had just said 10 days prior in a public capacity. Having found no evidence of Russian collusion, the FBI came up with a new absurd theory that Flynn might have violated the Logan Act, a statute from 1799 that in its 200 years of existence had never been used to convict an American citizen, but it was resurrected in the case of Lieutenant General Michael Flynn. Michael Flynn didn't violate the Logan Act. Even the FBI did not think that General Flynn's telephone call provided the predicate for a criminal investigation. In fact, in January of 2017, an internal FBI document concluded that Flynn was, quote, no longer valid, viable candidate for investigation. Disgraced FBI agent, noted Trump hater Peter Strzok disagreed, texting this, hey, if you haven't a Flynn case yet, don't do so yet, end quote. So the Flynn case remained active. This was a good thing for Peter Strzok, a bad thing for justice. It was a bad thing for the rule of law. According to yesterday's motion to dismiss the case against Lieutenant General Michael Flynn, Mr. Strzok immediately relayed the, quote, serendipitously good page special counsel at the FBI, remarking, quote, incompetence actually helps us. That's right, their utter incompetence to close the case against Lieutenant General Michael Flynn was something to be serendipitously celebrated. The scheme to manufacture a case against Michael Flynn continued. After President Trump entered office, the FBI's partisan pursuit of General Flynn proceeded under Jim Comey's FBI. A transcript of Flynn's entire conversation, the FBI decided to go ask General Flynn what happened on the call, despite having a transcript in their possession. The motive would have been to, quote, get him to lie. They advised the president, imagine that, you're an American citizen, you don't need a lawyer, we're just coming in to have a chat. They didn't inform their superiors at the Department of Justice about their intent to interview Flynn, despite their own attorney at the FBI saying, if we usually tell the White House, then I think we need to normally do. But they ignored the advice of FBI counsel, and they went in to interrogate Michael Flynn. Acting Attorney General Sally Yates, no fan of President Trump, said she was flabbergasted, she was dumbfounded by the decision to not inform DOJ officials who, quote, hit the roof. This is all outlined in a legal document that you can find. Additionally, when the FBI arrived at the White House, they did not even warn lawyerless Flynn about the consequences for providing an inaccurate response. The interrogation of Michael Flynn was not an inquiry. Make no mistake, it was a trap. Troubling was the fact that after the interrogation of Flynn, former Deputy Director of the FBI, Andy McCabe, concluded that he, quote, didn't think Flynn was lying. But the case against Flynn continued. We were pleased to learn yesterday that the Justice Department moved to drop the case against General Michael Flynn. Though it took several years, it is encouraging justice finally prevailed. As we move forward as a country, it's important to take these revelations very seriously in order for Americans to have faith in our justice system. Top leadership of the FBI can target this country for 3 decades. Make no mistake, they can target you. To believe that this happened in the United States of America. General Michael Flynn's life was forever changed. He had to sell his home. He faced financial ruin. His family was even threatened with prosecution. But despite all of that, here's what Michael Flynn put out yesterday in his first reaction to the motion to dismiss. If we can play the video, let's go ahead and play it. Don't think we have the video. I encourage you all to go on General Flynn's Twitter feed, and what you'll see is a really beautiful video of his grandson talking about how much he loves this country for all, and how commendable that is for General Flynn at a time when he was so gravely wronged. Say this: I still believe in this country, I still believe in America, I still believe in the principle tree, the greatest on earth. And in the words of renowned political philosopher Baron de Montesquieu, no greater tyranny than that which is perpetrated under the shield of law and in the name of justice. I hope the media will take these questions very seriously. We'll report the facts. There was heavy interest in the first interviews from many years ago that got 4 times the coverage that the exoneration of Michael Flynn got today. That was a report by Media Research Center. So these facts are important, and thank you very much for those interest in reporting. And with that, I'll take questions.
Thank you.
Jim, you were so kind on the first one.
Thank you, Kaylee, and congratulations on becoming press secretary.
Thank you.
Wanted to ask you, putting aside the situation with Michael Flynn, today the unemployment rate since the Great Depression. What is the president's plan to get this country out of this ditch?
Yeah, you know, this president is the jobs president. This president got us to a place where we had the lowest employment rate in the history of this country, historic lows for Black Americans, Hispanic Americans, the disabled, veterans. As the president has noted, and I think this is right, we had to put a stop to the economy. This wasn't some, economic catastrophe that organically happened. It was decided upon by the President of the United States to stop the United States economy because we had to save 2.2 million, somewhere in that range, because American lives, that's what mattered most. And so this president, when faced with this very tough decision to put a pause on the hottest economy in modern history, said American lives matter most. And that's what he did. And I can tell you this, the president that got us to the hottest economy in modern history, and he can do it again.
What's the plan now?
We're going to work with Congress. We're going to come up with hopefully a phase 4. We encourage the House to maybe reconvene soon. It would be helpful if Nancy Pelosi was here. But thus far, what we've done is the PPP, of course, Paycheck Protection Program, that has really kept a lot of employees on the payroll. 60 million employees, roughly half of the workforce in the private sector in this country, have been kept on thanks to that measure. But going forward, principles like deregulation, principles like lowering taxes. The president has mentioned a payroll tax pause, which would be a great thing for the American people. There are a lot of proposals being entertained. I don't want to get ahead of the president, but I can tell you.
Isn't there a problem, though? The president wants people to get back to work. He wants these governors to reopen their. But if Americans aren't comfortable going to restaurants and movie theaters or the beach or whatever, how do you get this economy moving again? What's the plan?
I can tell you there's a lot of pent-up demand in this country. There's a lot of people who do want to go out to restaurants, who do want to go out to movies, who do want to go back to their jobs every day. I don't think that that's a problem. I think people can trust that we have a president who wants to reopen safely. These are data-driven guidelines to reopening. The president has those, and there's no reason to be concerned because we have a president who always looks at the data, as Dr. Fauci and Dr. Birx have repeatedly noted. SUCK?
Kaylee, there was a second confirmed case of COVID-19 at the White House today, apparently a member of the vice president's staff. That's 2 in 2 days in a building where people are being tested now, including the president and the vice president. Every day they've had their temperature checked for months here. Why should the average person whose workplace doesn't have access to these rapid tests feel comfortable going to work if it's safe for people?
Well, look, this individual, there is a member of the vice president's team who is positive for coronavirus. We have put in place the guidelines that our experts have put forward to keep this building safe, which means contact tracing, all of the recommended guidelines for businesses that have essential workers. We're now putting in place here in the White House. So America reopens safely. The White House is continuing to operate safely. Yes, John.
Kelly, the president, of course, we saw go down to the World War II memorial with a group of 7 American heroes, all in their 90s. Did he give any consistency, given that his valet just tested positive and he's with some of those in the most vulnerable population. Did he consider wearing a mask while he was with these veterans?
Well, this president is regularly tested and will make the decision as to whether to wear a mask or not. I can tell you that those veterans are protected because they've chosen to put their nation first. They wanted to be with their commander-in-chief on this momentous day and choice to come here. And I can tell you that the president always puts the safety of our veterans first and of the Americans first.
Well, how much exposure has he had to his valet? Can you give us a sense?
I can just tell you that we've taken every single precaution to protect the president. The same guidelines that our experts have put in place. We clean the facility. We social distance. We keep people 6 feet away from one another. So we've done every single thing that Dr. Birx and Dr. Fauci have asked us to do, and I can assure the American people that their commander-in-chief is protected. Yeah.
Thanks, Daly. I want to ask you about the Gilead drug, remdesivir. Which government agency is in charge of distributing that drug, and is the with how that drug is being distributed around the country?
Yeah, I actually just spoke with Dr. Birx about this. Going to be working and consulting as to where this drug should go. She's the person who's constantly reviewing the numbers, constantly reviewing the data. I'm forced with her every day, and she really has the best grasp as to how that should be distributed. So she will be one of the chief consultants as to how that drug is distributed, which I would note in vials donated by Gilead. We're so thankful for that. This drug is promising, and we want to get it to the American people and to the areas that need it most. Ganesh?
Hi, thanks so much and congratulations on the new gig. It's my first time seeing you at the podium. And, I have 2 quick questions. The first one's about what's the possibility of getting involved in the Ahmaud Arbery case, given that Georgia doesn't have any hate crime, chased and killed Ahmaud Arbery because he was an African American and they racially profiled him. Would the Justice Department consider getting involved?
Look, first I want to say that my heart of Ahmaud, I can't imagine what they're going through right now. My heart breaks for this family. I know the president's heart breaks. I've spoken to him about that, and I can tell you we will follow the facts right now. As you know, in Georgia, it's a state matter, but absolutely we will be following every detail. OJ, but as the facts merit, I'm certain that they'll be following those facts. And you had a second question?
In 2015, shortly after the president said that some Mexican immigrants were rapists and criminals, you said that language was racist and hateful. Do you still believe that today?
Well, I'm actually glad you asked that, because for about first 4 weeks of the election, I was watching CNN. I was naively believing some of the headlines that I saw on CNN. And
I just want to know if you also personally still believe that.
I'm actually not going to read the headlines. So I very supported the president. In fact, CNN hired me. I was on many 8-on-1 panels where I proudly supported this president, who I believe is one of the best presidents, if not the best president this country will ever have. But I would encourage the individual who did that analysis of my past, rather than focusing on me, he really should be focused on some of the very guests CNN chose to have on their network. He should be focused on, Clapper, who said, 10 days before he privately told investigators there was no evidence of Watergate pales in comparison to the Russia probe. I'd encourage them to look at Samantha Powers, who's privately saying, I'm not in possession of any evidence of collusion. Ambassador Rice, I don't recall intelligence or evidence of any collusion. Former Attorney General Loretta Lynch, I do not recall that being me. And for 3 years, 2 years, probably more than that, CNN ran with the collusion narrative. And if the American people are watching right now, you're probably very confused as to some of the quotes I read, because those were saying much different things publicly than they were saying privately. And I'm very grateful that those transcripts were released yesterday. And perhaps the K-File should do an analysis of that. Yes, Ebony?
Are you walking at all, or do you stand by those comments that you made?
I support this president. There is no questioning that. I'm so honored to work for him. And Ebony, next question.
Thank you. On the Michael Flynn case, Kaylee, documents released yesterday suggest members of the intelligence community tried to keep the case against Michael Flynn ongoing. I'm wondering if you think there should be an investigation. The administration is considering bringing charges against people like James Clapper and Peter Strzok.
I'd refer you to the DOJ on that, but I would say there were some very, very questionable actions that happened in this case, and I took you through a number of them. And I do think the American people deserve answers, but I leave it to the Justice Department as answers. Yes.
Kaylee, has the president spoken to Michael Flynn since this news yesterday, and do you expect that he will visit the White House? Is that something that's being planned?
I'm not aware of any conversations that have taken place, and not aware of any future plans that would regard Michael Flynn.
Could I ask one more? Lyrically, that negotiations on the next stimulus are at a lull right now. Given where the numbers are in unemployment, from the White House perspective, why is it at a lull right now?
Well, look, I think Nancy Pelosi should explore coming back and having the House come back and having those discussions. We know the Senate is here. I think it's important for us to move and look at a phase 4. The president thinks so too. So those negotiations will happen, but we need the House. We need Nancy Pelosi to come back from California and get to Washington, D.C. and to work for the American people. Yeah.
Thank you, and congratulations on your new role.
Thank you.
Yeah. Following up on Jim's questions about getting the economy started again, does the president see the CDC guidelines obstacle to getting the country back up and running again? And if it does not see the CDC guidelines as an obstacle, why not release those guidelines to the public and also follow them as we move forward?
So I assume you're talking about the guidelines widely reported about yesterday about daycares. Yes. Yes. So I would ask you, what's the definition of CDC guidelines? Is it something that the CDC director has actually seen? I would endeavor to say yes. Is it something that a rogue CDC employee leaks to you guys? No, those aren't CDC form that a rogue employee has given you for whatever personal reason they've decided to do that. Those guidelines are in the editing process. We want the American people to get as much information, and that's why we have the phased reopening guidelines, the data-driven guidelines. Those CDC guidelines are going through an editing process, and when we have those, you guys will be the first to know. Are we on time, Melissa?
We are. Except wrap.
Okay. What's our exact?
2 to 1. 2 minutes to 1.
Oh, 2 minutes to 1. I'm sorry to cut this short, but as you know, you guys were supposed to be 3 minutes ago with the President of the United States. So
why did you spend the first part of this briefing
thanks so much,
about
everyone.
Mike Flynn when both the president
Justice
and
matters.
vice president were virus and we have historic unemployment? Is that really what's top of mind today for the White House?
Rest of the restricted in-house pool, please gather at the North Fork of Steps. Restricted in-house pool.
The U.S. unemployment rate, Great Depression. The Labor Department reports 14.7% unemployment in April, with over 20 million jobs lost last month. That's 2 times worse than during the 2008 housing, but less than the Great Depression when unemployment hit just over 25%. Our live coverage continues at 2 Eastern today when North Carolina Governor
Hello everyone from WHO headquarters in Geneva, and welcome to our regular press conference on COVID-19. I welcome all of you watching us on different WHO social media platforms and all journalists who are watching us online. As we had in previous couple of weeks, we have a simultaneous translation in 6 UN languages, plus Portuguese and plus Hindi. So journalists who are online should just go to settings and select the language and feel welcome to ask questions in their language. Today we had announced that we will have a number of guests on the anniversary of smallpox eradication. We had to change this for different reasons, and I'm sure Dr. Tedros will mention this event and anniversary in his opening remarks. So I will give the floor to Dr. Tedros.
Thank you, Tariq. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Exactly 40 years ago, the 8th of May 1980, the World Health Assembly officially declared that the world and all its peoples have won freedom. Smallpox is the first and to date the only human disease to be eradicated globally. Until it was wiped out, smallpox had plagued humanity for at least 3,000 years, killing 300 million people in the 20th century alone. Its eradication stands as the greatest public health triumph in history. As the world confronts the COVID-19 pandemic, humanity's victory over smallpox is a reminder of what's possible when nations come together to fight a common health threat. Many of the basic public health tools that were successfully then are the same tools that have been used to respond to Ebola, COVID, disease surveillance, case finding, contact tracing, and mass communication campaigns to inform affected populations. The Small Communication campaign had one crucial tool that we don't have for COVID-19 yet, a vaccine, in fact, the world's first. As you know, WHO is now working with many partners to accelerate the development of a vaccine for COVID-19, which will be an essential tool for controlling transmission of the virus. But although a vaccine was crucial for ending smallpox, it was not enough on its own. After all, it was developed by Edward Jenner in 1796. Another 184 years for smallpox to be eradicated. The decisive factor in the victory over smallpox was global solidarity. At the height of the Cold War, the Soviet Union and the United States of America joined forces to conquer a common enemy. They recognized that viruses affect nations or ideologies. That same solidarity built on national unity is needed now more than ever to defeat COVID-19. Stories like the eradication of smallpox have incredible power to inspire. But there are many more untold stories about health around the world. Next Tuesday, the 12th of May, WHO will announce the 5 winners of our inaugural Health for All Film Festival. The winning films were by a distinguished panel of jurors from almost 1,300 entries from 110 countries. They're seen on WHO's YouTube channel, and we invite everyone to join us on our social media channels next Tuesday for the announcement of the winners. Yesterday, I announced the resources WHO estimates it needs to deliver our updated strategic preparedness and response plan for COVID-19. Estimates that WHO requires $1.7 billion to respond to COVID-19 across the 3 levels of the organization between now and the end of 2020. This estimate includes the funds that WHO has already received to date, leaving WHO's COVID-19 response with a funding gap of $1 billion for 2020. To be clear, this estimate only covers WHO's needs, not the entire global need. WHO is deeply grateful to the countries and donors who responded to WHO's initial strategic preparedness and response plan, and to the hundreds of thousands of individuals, corporations, and foundations who have contributed to the COVID-19 Solidarity Response Fund. And we thank you so much for Our updated strategic plan takes into account the lessons we have learned so far, strengthening WHO's role in global and regional coordination. It's built on 5 strategic objectives. First, to mobilize all sectors and communities. Second, to control sporadic cases and clusters by isolating all cases. Third, to suppress community transmission through infection prevention and control and physical distancing. Fourth, to reduce mortality through appropriate care. And fifth, to develop safe vaccines and therapeutics. To support these objectives, WHO will continue to provide technical, operational, and logistic support to countries, and we will continue to update and adapt our guidance according to local needs. In certain countries with weaker health systems, WHO will continue its operational work as a provider of essential health services. As we reflect today on the eradication of smallpox, we're reminded of what is possible to come together to confront a common foe, to confront a common enemy. The legacy of smallpox was not only the eradication of one disease, it was the demonstration that when the world unites, anything is possible. A will, there is a way. It gave us the confidence to pursue the eradication of other diseases like polio and guinea worm. Like smallpox, COVID-19 is a defining challenge for public health. Like smallpox, it's a test of global solidarity. Like smallpox, COVID-19 is as an opportunity not only to fight a single disease, but to change the trajectory of global health and to build a healthier, safer, fairer for everyone. To achieve universal health, to achieve our dream from the establishment of WHO in 1940s, health for all. And I thank you. But before we move on to questions, Tariq, I would like to mention one small way we are commemorating the eradication of smallpox. When WHO's smallpox eradication campaign was launched in 1967, one of the ways countries raised awareness about smallpox was through postage stamps. When social media, Twitter, Facebook, even in the horizon. To commemorate the 40th anniversary of smallpox eradication, the United Nations Postal Administration and WHO are releasing a commemorative postage stamp to recognize global solidarity in fighting smallpox. I especially want to thank Atul Khare, United Nations Under-Secretary General for Operational Support, for making this commemorative stamp possible. Thank you again, Tariq, and back to you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Tedros, for these opening remarks on this very remarkable day. I forgot to introduce speakers today, but I think you know them already. It's Dr. Mike Ryan, Dr. Maria Van Kerkhove, and we have Mr. Steve Solomon, who is the principal legal officer. We would also like to thank interpreters who are today helping that journalists can ask questions language. So we will start with questions now. Please be short, concise, one question per person. And we will start with Deutsche Welle, and we have George. George, can you hear us?
Yes, sir, I can hear you.
Yes.
May I ask, French scientists have found that cigarette smokers are less likely to be hospitalized with COVID-19. What do you make of these findings?
Thank you very much, George, for this question.
Thank you very much for the question. So we know of tobacco are well known, and we know that millions of people die every year. COVID-19 is a respiratory illness, and smoking causes damage to the lungs. And there are a number of studies out there that have been published. Smoking leads to more severe disease, the development of severe disease, and puts people at higher risk for being put on a ventilator, being in ICU, and for dying. There are some studies, there are some media reports of some studies, 2 studies in particular, that have not been peer-reviewed, that have looked at the prevalence in people who've been hospitalized and not. These studies did not evaluate, they were not designed to evaluate whether smoking was protective or not, or in any shape or form, and they say that smoking is protective. We do know, I will know the harms of smoking, and we know that smokers, if they do get infected with COVID-19, have a higher risk of severe disease and death.
Thank you very much, Dr. Van Kerkhove. Next question comes from Guatemala, Diario de la Hora, and we have Grecia on phone. Grecia, if you could just unmute yourself. Hello?
Sí, buenos días.
Hello, good afternoon. My question is, what is seen regarding the consequences of regenerating economies and the contagion in the countries who have opened up their economies again? Thank you.
Gracia, can you just please repeat it? We are not sure we understood it.
Yes, of course. Thank you. My question was about what has been seen in countries' economies, and how has the epidemic responded to that?
Thank you very much. I think we understood it now.
I can start, and perhaps Mike would like to supplement. So we're just beginning to see now a number of cutting up their economies after having shown that they are able to suppress transmission. The countries that are further along in this are countries across Asia. And we do see that countries like China, Japan, Korea, Singapore have lifted some of these public health and social measures in a slow and a controlled way. They have seen a resurgence in cases, meaning that they've seen some outbreaks. And in Japan and in Singapore, for example, they've seen outbreak situations. Singapore right now is dealing with outbreaks in expat dormitories and dormitories where people live in close proximity to one another. And they just shared a presentation with us earlier how they are going into exquisite detail in terms of trying to find all of those suppressed transmission even in these closed settings. What we are learning from those countries who are slowly opening up their economies again, and we've talked about this before, once these measures are lifted, they need to be lifted in a very slow and controlled way because it's possible for the virus to take off again. Countries are improving their system to identify the virus, identify people who are infected with that virus through increasing their testing capacity, through increasing their ability to do contact tracing, where they're making sure that the beds in the hospitals are free so that they can care for patients depending on the systems. So what we're seeing is even though they are lifting some of these measures, they are quickly working to find cases if those cases do resurge, so that they can try to suppress transmission again. I think we're going to be in a situation where we may need to lift some of these measures, but be ready to quickly identify those cases. There may be sort of a push and pull for some time as we try to really work and suppress this virus across the globe.
Thank you very much. Next question is for our friend Geneva-based journalist Peter Kenny, representing South Africa media. Peter, can you unmute yourself, please? Do we have a Peter Kenny? You need to unmute yourself. Otherwise, we will try to come back to Peter maybe later. Let's try with Bianca Rotier from Globo, Brazilian media. Bianca.
Hi, Tarek. Can you hear me?
Yes, please go ahead.
Thanks a lot. So my question is about Brazil. I'll make it in Portuguese.
The Brazilian government has said that they don't have enough respiratory devices, and WHO has talked about the need for this protective equipment, and they also help Brazil with ventilators. And what are the guidelines of on this issue? He's organizing an event for over 30 people. What does WHO think about the situation in Brazil? Lancet issued a warning about the possibility of doubling the number of deaths in just 5 days in the country. Thank you.
That's about 5 questions in one, so I think it's going to be difficult to address. WHO always responds to requests for assistance from member states. I think it's important to clarify here that the WHO is an agency made up of its member states, and we respond to any request for assistance from those states. We're not entitled or empowered to come into any country, provide any specific standards or guidance, or to deliver any particular material unless we're a government of that country. And I'm sure that the government in Brazil is working closely with our colleagues in our American regional office, the Pan American Health Organization, and we will respond promptly. Materials, supplies, technical assistance, or strategic guidance regarding the nature of mass gatherings or any other control measure that Brazil wishes us to do so.
Thank you very much. And yes, please, if we can have one question per be really good. The next question is coming from Greece. That's Kostas from ERT Television. Kostas, yourself, and we will be able to hear you.
Hello to everybody. My question. Since the beginning of the pandemic, states have been identify cases and test citizens. PCR and antibody tests are already in use. Lately, we have been observing groups of researchers analyzing city wastewaters to determine the degree of contamination of areas coronavirus. Can this innovative tool give us a faster and more realistic picture of the pandemic versus the usual tests? Thank you.
As if we can just repeat the question is about the new tests, antibody tests, or?
No, it's a question about analyzing cities' wastewaters to determine the degree of contamination, give a faster and more realistic picture of the pandemic.
Thank you very much for that.
So I could start, but maybe Mike will want to add. So yes, sorry, I didn't hear the question before. So there's a number of ways in which we are looking to evaluate. You mentioned two of those, the use of molecular tests or PCR tests, which are measuring active infection in people. There's the use of the antibody tests, which are also testing people, but that's testing past infection. We have a unit here that's looking at wastewater, that is looking at if the virus or fragments of the virus are found in wastewater. We do understand that there are fragments of virus. This is not live virus or infectious virus that can be found in wastewater. So it's possible that that might be something that could be used to look at where the virus may be, but it's important that we focus our attention on looking for the virus in people. Countries have demonstrated the ability to, if you aggressively look for cases, human cases, and find those individuals, isolate those individuals, care for them depending on the severity of their illness in a healthcare facility or at home if that can't be done, and identify all of their contacts and quarantine those contacts. We know that that works and that can stop transmission.
If we could, maybe just emphasize that point. I think we've said this a couple of times. I mean, science and discovery is very important, and looking for the virus in different samples, have been able to find different ways to monitor the presence of the virus, be it in environmental samples, very important, in antibody tests, patients, very important. They all have an importance, and they're all very important for understanding the long-term of the pandemic. But we seem also to be avoiding the uncomfortable reality that we need to get back to public health surveillance. We need to go back where we should have been months ago, finding cases, testing cases, isolating people who are tested positive, doing quarantine for contacts. We have seen time and time again in countries that have contained this virus and brought it under control without the need for massive lockdowns, have done it through the application of principled, human rights driven, but sometimes quite a public health surveillance. And I think we sometimes, and I think this is something we do in society, we sometimes look for the answers where they're not. We need to go back to the basic principles of how we control this disease. A strategy that matches basic public health surveillance, community education and empowerment with a strengthened healthcare capacity to treat cases, and we are able to pull those three things together and develop a vaccine in the medium term. That's the core. There's a lot of other information and science that needs to be discovered around that, but we need to stick to the core strategy, or else we really will risk looking for answers where the answers are not, or the answers to the questions we're asking are not going to solve the problem we have. We know the problem we have.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ryan and Dr. Van Kerkhove. Now we will go Sierra from Swiss News. Laurent, can you please unmute yourself? Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you for having my question. Since you raised the question of several tests last time, the Swiss pharmaceutical group Roche got the approval from FDA, and they pretend to have a product which is trustful than 99% and more efficient. And at the same time, there was a study by the University of Zurich published in The Lancet that tend to show that COVID-19 is not only a systemic vascular inflammation. So what does these two components tell us, and what might that change in terms of response? Thank you.
I'll start with the first part of that question. So there are hundreds of tests that are available. A number of them are serologic tests, which are measuring the amount of antibodies in an individual. And some of these are undergoing different forms of validation, which is very important. This means that each of the tests that are developed are assessed and evaluated for how well they work. And there you use a known quantity of sera, of biological material, to look into the test performed. Do they actually measure what they're supposed to measure? And that's important. We are working with a number of labs and also FIND to help do validation of molecular tests as well as, and as those validation results come available, then we will have more and more confidence of these tests that are out there. There are more than 90 countries that are currently conducting seroepidemiologic studies. We've mentioned that previously. And this is an important part of understanding the extent of infection in a population, in a country, and across the world.
And on the issue of associated with COVID-19, I think this is an important issue, because I think we've very often seen with new emerging diseases that they don't always have just one target organ. They tend to cause a much more disseminated disease. They may affect multiple organs. And it is something, many generations of transmission, sometimes decades, sometimes hundreds of years. Some diseases establish what looks like a preferred organ, or it becomes an endemic one organ that's affected more than any other organ in the body. And we tend to often call those diseases after the organ they affect. We often call the hepatitis viruses hepatitis, inflammation of the liver. But there are many different types of virus that cause that same problem. But however, there are diseases like measles, and we often think of measles as a disease, a fever with a rash, a mild self-limiting illness in children. I can tell you that measles in an unvaccinated child who's undernourished and living in a refugee camp is a serious disease that can affect their lungs, their eyes, their brain. It can cause so many different organs to fail. It's quite frightening. So I think when we look at COVID-19, we need to see that as a disease that obviously is a respiratory disease. It's spread by a respiratory route. It causes a respiratory syndrome. It is that in a proportion of patients, it is causing a broader inflammatory response, either within the vascular, or that's the blood-carrying system, or in other parts of the body. We've also seen reports of encephalitis, or swelling or inflammation of the brain. We've seen other reports of other effects of the disease. And that's why it's so important, as Maria has said previously, that we continue to collect clinical data from across the world on all of these different impacts of the virus. But it's still primarily causing a respiratory syndrome, and you see that, unfortunately, day after day in intensive care units around the world, patients struggling to breathe with their oxygen levels falling and having demonstrable damage by CAT scan and X-ray to their lung tissue. That is a major part of the syndrome. But clearly, the vascular effects, or the effects on the blood-carrying system or the cardiovascular system, are there, they're real, and they need to be studied further.
Thank you. Next question is from David Andelman from CNN. David, you have the floor.
Yes, thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Good. Can you suggest why Russia's infection rate has been rising so dramatically, and whether the WHO figures really reflect the totality of Moscow, and whether Russia is following WHO guidelines for containment?
Thank you, David.
I think Russia is probably experiencing a delayed epidemic, and we've seen this in many contexts. We've seen how Italy, was one of the first countries in Europe to experience a large-scale epidemic, and it was followed by. We believe that, in that sense, Russia has experienced a delayed beginning to the epidemic and is now seeing that increase in cases. Russia has also increased its testing, both in the urban areas and outside them, and the increased numbers may reflect partly that, but there's also been an increase in deaths, which means the disease is having an impact. And I think the government has really shifted its response into a much more aggressive mode over the last week or so, because I think there's a growing realization that this disease is requiring a scaled-up response. A strategy has been implemented. Russia has implemented fairly large-scale public health and social distancing measures. It is increasing its lab testing across the country. I think where all countries have struggled, quite frankly, is with systematic contact tracing, particularly when numbers begin to rise very quickly. And I think this has happened. If you remember, we spoke about the seas before, where you have cases and you have clusters, and then you have this widespread community transmission. And I think when you have cases and clusters of cases, it's quite straightforward with some targeted investment in public health services to do the kind of containment activities we've spoken about before. Once you reach intense community transmission, it becomes very, very difficult at that point to do systematic and comprehensive surveillance. I think the exceptions to that are countries like Korea, that managed to do contact tracing in the middle of a very intense community outbreak. So it is possible to do, but it requires a very coherent, very well resourced and a very well trained public health workforce with a lot of resources and the support of government and of the community to achieve that. For Russia, for other countries in Europe, once you get behind the curve, community level, the only options that have remained open to countries in those situations have been pretty severe public health and social distancing measures. And those measures have had an impact, and they have suppressed infection. But without, and as those numbers have shifted, the danger is always, as Maria has said before, of a jump back. That disease will probably jump back unless you continue suppressing the virus by those public health measures, by their investigations, by that contact tracing, that testing, and by continuing to support the community to maintain physical distance and appropriate measures, if not a total lockdown. With the case of the Russia, I think Russia is just in a different phase of the pandemic and can learn some of the lessons that have been learned at great cost in Asia, in North America and in Western Europe.
Thank you, Dr. Ryan. Next question coming from Maya Plants from The Shift. Maya, you need to unmute.
Yes, thank you very much for taking my question. My question is still regarding the cardiovascular issues that have been reported. If you could elaborate a bit more on how are you looking at these issues of, patients report, how does the WHO reports on this and collects data on this because I heard that some people came to hospitals not with respiratory problems, with cardiovascular back home, and later they were found out that was part of the symptoms that they exhibited by being, having cardiovascular issues.
So thank you for the question. It's a really important question. As we has just said, as we learn more and more about this virus, in month 5 of this pandemic, and although it has seemed like an incredibly long time, we're at the very, very early stages of our understanding of how this virus affects how disease progresses, what diseases that this infection causes. We have a global clinical network that we've brought together. We bring this same group of clinicians across the globe together for other diseases. We acted early in January to bring together clinicians who have experience with treating COVID-19 patients. And the value in doing that is you're putting clinicians talking to clinicians with firsthand experience of what they are actually seeing in terms of the patients, in terms of what those patients are dealing with, and what those doctors and nurses and medical professionals are doing to try to save their lives and to try to prevent them from progressing to severe disease. The way in which we gather information about symptoms or disease, standardized set of data that needs to be collected from patients. Difficult to collect a standardized set of data from patients when you're in the middle of a very intense outbreak and you're just trying to save as many lives as you can. But in some countries, and in many countries that don't see intense transmission right now, and especially in the beginning, is we set up a clinical case report form, which is something that was developed with WHO and SUCK, which is the International Severe Acute Respiratory Infection Consortium, and many partners, many clinicians and nurses and medical practitioners across the globe to set up a case report form that collected a set amount of data from each patient. And in doing information so that we can analyze it and say, is this common? Is that not common? Is it associated with COVID-19 infection? What does the presence of smoking or an underlying condition have to make that condition worse? So we set up this case report form. It is being used now, time to get going, and there's more than 10,000 case records, and we are hoping that more and more case records can be obtained so that we could better understand this. In addition, we're working with a number of countries who are conducting their own studies in their hospital. Some of these are coming out through peer-reviewed publications, but those are done by individual hospitals. And that information is really critical for us to gather an evidence base to really understand what's happening. But with these syndromes, with these new syndromes that we hear about, those by astute clinicians, astute nurses, astute medical professionals. And it's important that that's characterized. You've heard of this hyperinflammatory syndrome in children. That is something that is now being, this is among children, a very rare condition that seems to be among children. This is being looked at globally now. And there will be a case report form specifically for that so that we can collect standardized information and be able to understand this disease further.
Thank you, Dr. Van Kerkhove. Next question is from Al Arabiya. We have online Doha El Zohairi. Can you please hear? Can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Please go ahead. Yes.
Okay. So my question is about any promising cure or vaccine, especially that we heard reports about showing negative side effects on patients who use hydroxychloroquine, and now eyes are on remdesivir. So any updates concerning that?
So I can start on this, and Mike or Gigi may want to supplement. So there are hundreds of clinical trials that are currently underway looking at different therapeutics, different drugs that could be used for COVID-19. What is important is that any of these potential therapeutics need to be evaluated properly through what are called randomized clinical trials, so that whatever agent is used provides safe and effective. You mentioned side effects. So it's not only important to look at how well this works against maybe progressing, preventing infection or helping someone progress to more severe disease or preventing death. It's also very important that it doesn't have side effects. So there are a number of clinical trials underway. We have initiated partners the Solidarity trial, which is a clinical trial that is evaluating, including remdesivir, including chloroquine, and there are 500 patients that have been enrolled in this clinical trial from, I think, 15 countries so far, but there are more than 100 countries that are willing to participate in this clinical trial. And the beauty of this is that by doing a clinical trial across multiple countries and multiple hospitals, is that we can have enough patients to be able to evaluate the answer to which drugs are safe and effective quicker. As of right now, any drugs that have fulfilled all of the criteria through these randomized controlled trials, but it is incredible that there are so many that are underway, and we look forward in the coming months to finding out more about which drugs are safe and effective for COVID-19.
Is for Antonio from EFE News Agency, Spanish-speaking news. Antonio? Antonio, can you please unmute? Let's try one more time with Antonio.
Sí.
Hello, thank you. My question is about social distancing measures in the opening up phase after lockdown. Do you think we'll be going through months or even years before people can actually hug or kiss each other? Thank you.
Yeah, I think that's you reflect our fervent desire of all human beings to reconnect with each other, and we share that sentiment here. We haven't shaken hands or hugged our friends in 18 weeks either, or seen our families, some of us. And therefore it's really important that we work hard to get back there. But we need to be careful in situations where the virus has spread unstopped. So yes, I think there is a pathway out, and I think many countries are taking a wise approach, relying on the patience and perseverance to continue to suffer what is a difficult process, both socially, psychologically and economically for many people. But I think everyone is doing that because we want to protect those we love, and we want to ensure that we end this as quickly as possible. So, we're going to have to monitor this very carefully. We are, and as WHO, we are monitoring. We've tried, and it's very difficult, but we've tried to work out the whole selection of measures that have been put in place by countries, and as those measures are lifted, we're looking at which countries are taking away which, and we will monitor the epidemiology in those countries, and with them we will look at and examine if certain measures as they're lifted may cause a jump in cases. We'll have to think about that again, one being, there's a very good example, as people return to work. I think the thing, and I think we're seeing, is that careful and measured return to those kind of normal activities of work and school, especially if they're done with density reduction, physical distancing and hygiene in place, seem to be very prudent and practical. Where we're going to maybe have to accept a little more time is going to be around mass gatherings, things like large-scale gatherings, concerts. We're going into the summertime in Europe, North America and other places in Asia, and people gather en masse. We go to big events, and it's going to be much more difficult to make those perfectly safe. And life is life. There's no zero risk. We all have to. We do it every day. We manage the risks in our life collectively. Is reduce the risks associated with COVID transmission to an absolute minimum. And then recognise what risk is left and be able to we would, at this point, in countries where we see downward trends in disease, where we see a strong public health surveillance in place, where we see a healthcare system that's capable of treating cases, where we see a committed community willing to continue with personal and community measures, I believe there's a path out. But it may involve schools or partial school opening, partial workplace opening, those working from home that can, those that need to go to work, being properly protected in place. And especially those people who have to work in high density conditions, we have to make special provision for their occupational health and safety. Then we have to look very carefully at events de masse. And see how best we can bring, for example, we spoke the last day about football and other spectator sports. Maybe the sports can start again, but the spectators may have to stay away for a little bit longer. So, and I think everyone has a stake in this. This isn't just the purview of scientists. This is a dialogue with communities. This isn't just spitting out orders that then are implemented by people. There is community activities and social life is a dynamic process. And there needs to be a good dialogue. And we need to have that at national level. We need to have that at provincial level. And it needs to be had at local level. Communities are very often best placed. What's important and looking at what's relevant for them, but all to the science and listening to the public health advice. So yes, I'm sorry, but because I think the issue is so important. There is a path out, but we must remain ever vigilant, and we may have to have a significant alteration to our lifestyles until we get to a point where we have an effective effective treatments. But that doesn't mean it's all bad. I mean, we've seen some benefits to our environment. We've seen some benefits to our connectedness. Strangely enough, even though we've been disconnected physically, I think many of us have recognised how important those connections are. So I think we need to move forward. It's been and is and will be for many populations and countries with weak health systems. Still, this is a big challenge. And we're not through it yet in many countries. And as some countries come out of lockdown and come out of these measures, they can offer hope to communities who are entering into learn lessons from what everyone has done, transfer resources, and help others to fight the fight they have to fight. And in the end of this, as Dr. Ted, and again, through solidarity, we will win the fight, and nobody is safe until everybody's safe.
Thank you, Dr. Ryan. We can take a couple of more questions maybe before we conclude. United News of India with Ajit.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. My question is related to temperature range. That is there any study, any experiment, or any lab research that what is the temperature that this virus can survive within the human body as well as in the open environment?
That is a very good question and a very specific question, and I don't have the data in front of me. There are studies that have evaluated virus survival on different types of surfaces, on wood, on fabric, that have found that the virus can survive depending on the temperature and the humidity. I don't have the details of the temperature and humidity off the top of my head, so I will be very happy to provide that answer if you get the name and the contact information.
冇 KW， 你因為個社會點會咁撚亂啊，大佬？就係有佢哋先係心係社會噶嘛。垃圾啊留低喺條街度，夜晚啊屌你揈撚住燈，整撚住啲街坊，大佬。咁啊，見到咧滑雪嘅流動冰車喺度噶啦，已經。心係社會啊！各位街坊自己睇清睇楚啦，你哋尊重屌你老母閪一隻萬人景仰嘅香港警，就係咁樣騷擾緊啲市民瞓覺啦，揈晒燈，屌你老味閪，見到光嗰啲，屌你老味閪，點瞓啊大佬？心係社會，旺角啊，旺角洗衣街啊，咁你係咪覺得佢好心係社會啊？落街都要揈住燈，你睇下佢知道佢哋有幾心係社會啦，係嘛？啱唔啱啊？咁啊，見到橙帶之星係擾民嘅，係啦，你唔好同我講呢啲叫心係社會啊，大佬！上面有街坊，你有揈燈，你有好心係社會啊！你哋個個心係社會啊，啱唔啱啊？心係社會，好忠誠勇毅㗎啦！我哋睇埋嘅5隻嘅忠誠勇毅啊！咁嗰5隻又冇乜嘢嘅，其實就真係企喺度。咁但係佢哋真係好心係社會㗎嘛，有啲嘢啱唔啱啊？係咪先？心係社會啊！我哋睇睇心係社會嘅阿德先，睇下有幾心係社會啊！我哋都喺條街度企咁樣就真係心係社會嘅有啲嘢。咁啊，見到咧呢個嘅滑雪嘅溜冰餐車咧，都繼續喺度心係社會啊，揈住燈嘅嚇。咁可能上面滑緊雪啦，我哋唔知啊，係咪先？你知阿 Sir 滑雪使你教咩？啱唔啱啊？ 咁我哋睇睇前面咧，心係社會嘅警員有冇擾民先。啊，咁啊，最多咪俾你撚兩撚，係咪先？啱唔啱啊？我依家屌你老味同你講道理啊嘛，啱唔啱啊？忠誠，我諗全個警隊最撚差應該係 KW 噶啦，係啦，先唔好撚佢，唔好撚理佢係咪平射我隻手，而係佢哋真係好撚唔撚掂咯成件事，大佬真係好撚差，堅差都係差嘅，係啦，你睇人哋都係西九，你都係西九，人哋西九機動部隊，屌你老母閪，人哋做嘅嘢又叻過你，醒過你。忠誠勇毅，心係社會，破壞個社會你又有份啊！忠誠勇毅嚇，改進下啦，執翻啲垃圾啦 ，KW 好啦，真係都太忠誠勇毅，我睇到我都錯，我走啦，拜拜。
Is that the virus, if it is on a surface, can be inactivated, can be killed with disinfectants in a matter of minutes, and that is important. And it is important that people know that because if they do touch a surface that is contaminated, they can wash their hands or use an alcohol-based rub and protect themselves, or they can clean their surfaces regularly. So it's important that surfaces are cleaned regularly and that you wash your hands. But I'll have to get back to you on the specifics of the temperature and humidity.
Okay, I think one important point, because you mentioned two things, one about environmental situations, and you also mentioned body temperature. Body temperature is this is important for people in terms of, because I've heard various stories about people saying it's important to be very hot or be very cold. This has no impact on the virus. Viruses and infectious diseases cause people to have fevers, and very often it's products of the virus or the immune response that trick the body into being hot. And having a temperature in itself is not necessarily a bad thing, but also that temperature has to be carefully monitored, especially in children. So the idea that one should have a very high temperature and that's helping to get rid of the virus is not true. The body is responding to the virus's presence. The idea that you would try to cool someone down to get rid of the virus is not true. But there are certain situations where there is a high temperature, and it's important for doctors and nurses to get the temperature down. High temperatures, and I mean very high temperatures, can be associated with convulsions. And the monitoring and the management of temperature in a person who's got an illness is very important. And it's very important that clinicians can manage a very high temperature. But the idea that temperature itself is affecting the way the virus will behave in the body themselves by trying to make themselves very cold or make themselves very hot will not affect the process of the virus in your body. But managing the temperature is very important outcome for the patient.
Thank you. Maybe we go to last question. That would be Politico, and it's Carlo who is with us tonight. Carlo?
Yes, hello. Thank you for taking my question. I had a question about the different rates of the virus geographically. For example, even in Europe, we see very different rates in Eastern Europe versus Western Europe, and sometimes even within the same country. For example, the north of Italy versus the south of Italy. Do we have any idea what's causing this extreme variability in small geographies?
That was the last question. We could be here all night because, you know, it is, and it's an important question, but it's not one that one can answer in a single sentence or in a number of sentences. But it does go to the heart of some of the issues associated with the transmission of this virus. I mean, obviously it transmits in different situations with different degrees of intensity. And what we've seen in mass gatherings or situations where people have been pulled together in large groups, we can see an amplification of disease that can spread the community very quickly, therefore generating a very large wave of infection. And in some situations we have very small waves, and the number of infected builds up more slowly. And that can occur because of a particular type of event triggers the transmission in a large number of people in a community at one time. But it can also happen because of the conditions that a community live in. The number of people who live in a household can often affect that. Transmission of, for example, disease in somewhere like Sweden versus somewhere like Italy, just as much be affected by the fact that 50 people live alone in apartments or live in apartments of less than 2 people, whereas many people in Italy socially live in much larger households. I'm not saying that's the reason, but you have to look at population density, you have to look at the way people live, you have to act. And that may be affecting the way disease in many countries. You have to look at the way in which people use public transport and use transit. If the large proportion of people are using overcrowded transit in the epidemic, you will see more transmission. So you could look at any number of factors. Population mobility between areas. In some countries, mobility between areas is not very high. In other countries, mobility, long-range commuting has become very common in Europe. For example, to find people commuting between countries to go to work. So social, economic, behavioural patterns can affect the way in which disease spread, population density, population behaviour, social norms, and the way we live our lives in general. There are differences right now, as I said before, between Western Europe, which has been through that big wave, and Eastern Europe, particularly the Russian Federation, that is now experiencing higher numbers of disease. And I was answering the question about Russia. I'd forgotten to say that there'd nearly been about 450,000 tests carried out in Russia, which puts it about. When you do it for the number of tests per million population is around 30,000 per million, which of the 57 countries in the European region of WHO puts Russia about the 10th highest of testing. The positivity rate is about 3.6%, which again is quite low compared to the positivity rates in other countries. So in that sense, just to follow up on the previous question, the number of deaths also remains very low as a proportion of the overall cases for the Russian Federation. So, but you see that, you can clearly see that there is in somewhere like Russia. And what we have to be very careful of is that the death toll doesn't rise with those cases. The other factors around the world, I was speaking in a European context there, so many other factors driving the risk of in countries. The degree of compliance with public health and social measures, the availability of effective public health response like contact tracing. We've seen countries who've been very systematic with a very comprehensive strategy. I think of countries like New Zealand who've really done the lot, and they've gone from public health measures to a very graded response, systematic case finding and contact tracing to a high rate of testing. When all of those have been put together, the disease tends to be more controllable. So disease epidemiology is driven by the natural history of the virus, it's driven by human behaviour, and it's obviously affected by the public health or the health response to the virus. So it's very hard to make hard and fast rules for what happens in any area.
Thanks. I just want to touch upon one aspect of this. Transmitted through the respiratory route. It's transmitted through infectious droplets from an infected person to another individual who's in close proximity to that person without wearing protective gear, or through contaminated surfaces where you touch a contaminated surface and you inoculate yourself through touching of your eyes or your nose or your mouth. The parameter that we look at to really evaluate how fast and how quickly this virus could spread is called the reproduction number. And that number is the average number one infected person individual will infect. If that number is above 1, then the virus can take off and you can have an epidemic. If that reproduction number is below 1, it will die out. And so what we're looking at in a number of countries is that they're constantly evaluating is what is the reproduction number, and they call that the time varying reproduction number. That number is context specific, as Mike was saying. If you prevent people from coming in contact with one another, if you isolate known contacts so that they don't have the opportunity to be in contact with someone else, if you find the contacts and you quarantine those contacts and they do become cases, they don't have the opportunity to infect other people. You actually break the chain of transmission and the virus has nowhere to go. The virus needs a person to be able to transmit to another person. If we are able to break those chains of transmission, we can production number under 1. And it's very context specific. Even I brought Singapore before, but even thinking of what's happening in Singapore, they were able to control until the virus had an opportunity to start in a closed setting, where you have people who are living in close contact with one another. These types of closed settings exist in all countries, in long-term care living facilities, in institutions, in prisons, and we need to find ways in which we can prevent the virus from transmitting from one person. That way we can bring that reproduction number under 1, and we can break those chains of transmission. The history that we can control by doing these measures: find, isolate, test, treat, find all of the contacts, quarantine those contacts, regulations, have them know what they can do to protect themselves and protect others.
Thank you very much. So we will conclude, and I apologize to journalists whose questions have not been answered this time, but obviously we will have opportunities. The audio file will be sent in the next hour or two, and transcript will be available tomorrow. I wish you a very nice weekend to all.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Tariq. Thank you for joining us all online, and have a nice weekend.
唔好害人哋啲仔女啦。好心啊，啲行徑有乜辛苦？日日打黑色衫，打黑色衫，我哋嘅後生仔。好心啊，啲行徑天生咁樣，日日爭取打交，爭取拗，又破壞香港。打傳媒，打傳媒，打議員，打議員，打女仔，打仔，打死黑警，打爛呢個家園啊！死黑警又唔做嘢，又唔讀書，死黑警點解我哋唔做嘢？我哋家境啊，全家仔女都喊，死黑警，我冇罪㗎，點解要搞我咧？黑警就係我哋仇人警，日日鬧事，黑警破壞香港法例，破壞香港法例。黑警就係我哋仇人，黑警日日鬧事，黑警破壞香港法例，黑警破壞香港法例，香港法例，香港法例。